Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Talk Radio. For those about to talk, we salute you. Talk Radio.
Thank you, Ash. I'm busy. I'm trying to untangle a wire here. My life is full of me untangling wires. Busy show this evening. After 11, we got the guy coming on whose cat received a phone call from Noel Edmonds. That's actually a true story. And before that, we got Scroobius Pip. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Well, I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with fire up. I've never been with anything less than a 9. So fine, I've been on fire with Sally Field, gone past with a girl named Bo, but somehow they just don't end up as mine. It's a death-defying life I lead. I take my chances. I die for living in the movies and TV. But the hardest thing I ever do is watch my leading ladies kiss some other guy while I'm bandaging my knee. I might fall from a tall building, I might roll a brand new car, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that made Redford such a star. I've never spent much time in school, but I taught ladies plenty. It's true, I hire my body out for pay. Hey, hey, I've gotten burned over Cheryl Teague's, blown up for Raquel Welch. But when I wind up in the hay, it's only hay. Hey, hey, I might jump an open drawbridge or Tarzan from a vine, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that makes Eastwood look so fine.
Turn it up. I'm coming. I was having a little bit of problem there, setting up the studio. Hang on a minute. Let me give that... I'm coming. We want to make sure everything's... You see, Pip, this is how we do a slick... radio show, you see? This is unlike your podcasts.
Yeah. This is proper.
I'm totally out of breath now. You've just seen me running around like a complete and utter prune trying to sort the studio out.
It's exciting.
This is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. Scroobius Pip is here. And it's a real pleasure to meet you.
It's great to be here.
Because I've kind of been aware of you for age. I tell you when I first became aware of you, it was when Russell Brand was on Desert Island Discs.
Yep.
And he picked one of your songs, didn't he?
That was nice of Russell.
When was that, last year?
It was a few years back, because he was then the first guest on my podcast, which started 2 years ago. So he must have done that a good few years back. But
wow.
God bless him.
What was the song that he picked?
He picked Thou Shalt Always Kill.
We played that the other week. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was good fun.
It's full of jokes, and I don't, sometimes... It makes it sound like it's a novelty record. It's not.
Yeah.
It's very, very funny.
Yeah, it's one of them weird ones of... That was the first song that me and Dan Lassac ever wrote together, and I recorded the original vocal on the first single of it that went out in my bedroom at my mum's house. Yeah. So the beauty was you could... When it was written, you genuinely didn't expect an audience to have to hear it. Yeah. So I could be as stupid or as serious or whatever, and not, do you know what I mean? Not worry about, is this a bit novelty? Is this a bit too heavy? Things like that. Just go, no, let's just ramble about stuff that I find interesting.
The Beatles, just a band.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a brilliant line.
Yeah, it kind of, it angered a lot of people. And the weird part about the just a band section, because... People think it's insulting any of the bands, which it's not.
Oh, no.
It's not. It's just, it came about because I was sitting down at Christmas dinner one year and it just came into my head. I was like, Tom York's probably sitting down at his mum's Christmas dinner table. I was like, how weird is that? Yeah. And Tom York's brother doesn't want to pass the potatoes or something, or he's taking the mick out of him. I was like, isn't that weird? Because they are, these iconic people, and I tried to pick people who have real huge... feverish followings, like from the Beatles to people like Crass, to
Pixies are in there,
to Radiohead to Pixies, and just to say, kind of these are at the end of the day a group of people just getting in a room and playing some songs. And again, there's some amazing songs. It's not an insult, but
And people got upset by that. They didn't see.
Loads of people would be
I thought it was such a beautiful collection of, just every kind of band under the sun in there.
That's what it was trying to be. And there'd always be people who go, I agree with most of that song, but then insert band that they're a fan of here. They're not just a band.
It's funny though, isn't it?
They are.
Because I imagine you get this as well, but we get very protective of our bands.
Yeah.
It's our band that we have found. Funnily enough, I'm just working on a documentary with Catherine about Gary Glitter about fans of Gary Glitter, of all people. And I've been to hang out with some Gary Glitter fans.
Yeah,
and most of them are just people that back the wrong horse.
Yeah.
They just. And one guy says, you can't choose what music you like, No. And I disagree. I think everything he's done is abhorrent and outrageous, but I really like the music, you know. Yeah. And it's that thing when we find our band or our singer or our rapper or whatever it is, we kind of cling on to that.
There's a comedian called Tony Hinchcliffe who I really like, and he's got a special on Netflix, and there's a bit in there he kind of talks about that point, and he's saying the fact is, at the end of the day, when you're in traffic and the windows are up, and bad comes on, you don't care about those accusations.
Yeah.
It's an amazing song.
Yeah.
He's like, he says it in a more crude way, so I'm cleaning it up for radio, but he's like, you don't care about that. And it's like, it's true in a club if certain Jackson songs comes on. And again, there is people like Glitter or whoever else.
Yeah.
Oh, Kelly's a prime example of someone that has had numerous charges brought against him, yet is still lauded and enjoyed.
Trapped in the Closet,
I was going to say,
is a masterpiece.
Some people enjoying it. Ironically, some people enjoying it with a wry smile. I remember when Trapped in the Closet came out, and I thought, oh my God, is he actually a genius? Is there going to be a point at the end of all this where he comes out and goes, I was having a laugh, right? I was messing about. Because, again, I was the same. Trapped in the Closet is...
For those who don't know, Trapped in the Closet is like... What is it? A hip opera? It's like
a hip opera, yeah.
It's a movie and it's chapters and it's basically his sexual exploits.
Yep.
The best bit, of course, is a midget.
Yeah.
Midget,
it echoes. Yeah, he really builds it up huge, and there's kind of pauses at the end of each episode, and it builds up to this. He jumps out of a closet again, I think, to pause the whole scene, and he says kind of, this next part is so twisted. Not only was there a man in the closet, but that man was a midget, and then he jumps back in scene. It's quite astounding.
It's amazing that Volume 2 I don't think is as good as Volume 1. What's even more amazing is I've done all the extras on the DVD, and not only is there R. Kelly Trapped in the Closet live in concert,
wow,
but there's also the R. Kelly commentary. Right, it's the weirdest thing, because when you do a director's commentary, the ones that I've enjoyed. It's the director or the star going, well, interesting thing about that actor is that he wasn't our first choice, but he came in on the day, and they're telling stories.
Yeah.
The R. Kelly commentary is him in a cinema watching it. So you see the back of his head, and then he'll turn around to the camera and go, have a look at this bit. I'm going to jump out of the closet, and I'm going to find out that it's her husband, but he's gay. Anyway, watch it. And it's him just telling us
giving spoilers.
Yeah, it's him telling us what's coming up. I'm thinking, you've never seen a director's commentary in your life.
One of the most fascinating parts about this, and I hope you remember this to be a fact, but the policeman in it is played by Omar from The Wire. And it's like, there's all these just random people. Then you're like, that's Omar from The Wire.
Yeah.
And he's in this weird hip opera.
Hip opera. We should listen. Scroobius Pip is here now. There may be some people that don't know who you are. I think we share.
Sure there will be.
Well, I'm sure that, but we share. I think we share kind of a cross.
Yeah.
The Venn diagram of us.
Yeah.
I think there's a little crossover section, and a lot of people were really excited that you were coming on. But how do we give a potted history of who you are for anyone that's... I mean, you're kind of a Renaissance man now.
I was going to say, it's confusing. Thou Shalt Always Kill came out in 2006, and I was doing kind of spoken word and spoken word over music, so I had a spoken word poetry background, but was doing rap and hip-hop. And that came out in 2006 and got in the top 40. And from there on...
Did you go on top of the pops?
We didn't, no, sadly. Man. It was gone. It was gone.
Nuts.
It wasn't available. But we got to go in loads of lovely places, and that was fun. And then, just spent 8-9 years touring and doing more records and getting more stuff in the charts. But then, then did a radio show and a podcast and some acting and some books and just all sorts of other stuff. So it's kind of it's that thing of the name Scroobius Pip is taken from an Edward Lear poem about a creature that doesn't know what it is, and it goes with the fish for a bit, then realises it isn't a fish, and it goes with the lions and realises it isn't a lion. At the end, it realises it is just a Scroobius Pip.
Yeah.
And I kind of took that name on because I was doing a lot of street art. I was trying to make some films. I was trying to do music. And the point was, I don't want to think of myself as one specific thing. As a musician, for example.
Yeah.
And when I started acting last year, a lot of people were like, so what's it like transitioning from music to acting? It's like, I'm not seeing it. It's just another thing. It's trying to do things that I enjoy. Just keep trying to do.
See, I think that is now that with the internet and with the fact that you've got a record label, I've got a record. People can put their own stuff out.
Yeah.
In so many different formats. You can get YouTube stars, or I think it's wrong to kind of pigeonhole people. I'm older than you, and I think that my generation is kind of the last one where people see me as either a TV presenter or a radio presenter, and that is it.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of anyone sort of under 40, under 35, that it's pointless trying to pigeonhole people. That now.
It's great. For me, the key has always been trying to think of any opportunity that comes up. If I was offered that chance when I still worked in a record store, would I take it?
Yeah.
Rather than going, is this right to go from this to this, or is this right for my career? Going, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Let's do that. That sounds like a laugh. And trying to just stumble through a career that way. So it looks like I've had this storied career that then led to that, and it looks all planned. It's just what comes along at the time, and seems to work out.
If people phone in, are you okay taking calls? If people don't phone in, don't be offended.
I mean, I'll warn them now. I've got a stutter, so if I'm taking my time to answer one of your questions, just try and use a phone line where you're not having to pay per minute. Is what I'm trying to say.
It's
basically,
interesting you mentioned the stutter, because we've had a couple of callers, a guy called Russell in particular. I'm sure you won't mind me mentioning, who's got really strong stutter.
Yeah.
Because he now his story is incredible. I want to get it right. I think he fell out of a second floor window when he was like 5 or something.
I almost drowned when I was 5, and that's how I got mine. It generally comes from a traumatic experience.
Is that what happened to you?
Yeah. I swept out. I was walking along the beach in France, and a wave came up and swept me out. And my dad, thankfully, looked back and saw and came and got me. But
wow.
that's how the stutter started.
Do you remember it?
I didn't, because my parents played it down. They kind of. My big memory was my dad going, "Oh, you've ruined my new trainers." But it's because they were trying to calm me.
Yeah,
and
of course.
I had hypnosis at the age of about 14 or 15, I think I was, and they kind of were looking back and found this and was like, "Oh, this is what caused it." And it was weird because I remembered it all. I was like, "Yeah, that's interesting." And then the hypnotist left, and about 2 hours later, I got a phone call at home. I answered the phone. I stuttered, and the person ringing was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and kind of didn't know who it was or what was happening.
Yeah.
And that triggered me to have a flashback to all the emotions of that 5-year-old out at sea. And it was weird because it wasn't a 15, 16-year-old or whatever remembering it. It was me.
You were that
feeling
kid.
it as a 5-year-old, and I was just a blubbery mess on the floor for like 10 minutes or something, because it was just this horrible thing. But it's a weird one. Yeah, it's interesting that these things. I love that we don't understand how stutters work, what they are. I love it. It's fascinating.
And also, going back to Russell, and he was in a coma for a while, and he's got a very strong stutter, and he was embarrassed about phoning up.
Yeah,
and we've kind of made it clear that we've got 3 hours.
Yeah.
If it takes 3 hours for him to, for him or anyone to get to their point, I'm in no rush. And we've got a guy called Jerry who's got Parkinson's, and if he's having a tough day, I really struggle to understand him. But he gets that, and we're kind of patient with each other. And some nights I go, "Jerry, I'm really sorry, man, but you must be really tired, but I'm not struggling to get this tonight."
Yeah.
And he's cool, and he'll phone back the next night when he's a bit better. And
when I worked in a record store, I had a guy who'd come in all the time. I had a really strong stutter, and I knew he'd come to me because he knew I had a stutter, and he knew I'd have the patience, and he'd feel less self-conscious. But it made me twice as self-conscious because my stutter wasn't as bad, and if I stuttered, I'd feel like I was like trying to go, "I'm struggling too, mate." Trying to go, "How about my problems? Don't forget about me." And it was like, that's not what I want.
No,
so I'd be so focused on trying not to stutter because I didn't want to take away his thing
And
as such.
is it interesting, or maybe it's not interesting that you make your living out of talking?
Yeah, it's weird, and I feel guilty a lot because I have people message me saying the radio show, the podcast, the music and all that, it's inspirational and it's brave to choose these things where talking is at the forefront. And I feel bad because it's not braveness.
Yeah,
I've just become so comfortable with it that I forget about it. Like genuinely, like when I got my radio show, it was all announced and there was a big deal being made of it's great that they've given a spoken word and hip hop show to a guy with a stutter. And it wasn't until I read that I was like, oh yeah,
that's done.
Me, isn't it? It hadn't crossed my mind, so it's
there's
a weird one.
a point, isn't there? I wrote a thing about depression maybe a couple of years ago, and people wanted me to go on like the Jeremy Vine show and be the poster boy for it. And I went, well, I'm not. I don't really fancy that. Luckily, Matt Hager's come out and has taken that position. Good for him. But it's that thing of. Brave, you're right, isn't it brave of you to with all of your issues to become a rapper?
Just getting on with stuff. I'm just kind of getting on with it.
Listen, if you want to phone in, 0844 499 1000. But if they don't phone in, don't go home and hate yourself.
I will take it personally.
If you want to make a grown man cry, then don't call
on.
in. 0844 499 1000. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Now, time travel films.
Yes.
You're a big time travel film fan.
I am.
I wanted to write a book on time travel films, and but then writing a book is quite hard work, I've discovered.
Yeah.
There's more words. I like reading books.
Yeah.
I've tried to write a book about me working in TV, and each chapter's a different TV show. Enough hard work writing a book.
Yeah.
There are so many words in there.
I've been working on a novel for God honestly, 17 years. It was an idea I came up with at college.
Yeah.
And originally it was an idea for a film and then blah, blah, blah. And I went on Wikipedia and it said that novels have to be over 30,000 words or something like that.
Well over 30,000.
And, I finished the first draft and I sent it off to my agent who sorted out this book and all that, and I was all pleased, and it was like, it's 45 or 50,000 words or something like that. And she just emailed back going, novels are 70,000 words or more. And I was like, why did I read something wrong on Wiki? And I've had this goal, and I got so excited to get to this, because again, it's a first draft. I was like, I've got to this finishing point after all this time. It was like, if you want to do anything, this needs to be twice as long, basically.
You not do finger spaces between the words?
Yeah, I could
stretch it out.
Could put a lot more in and er in. I could insert my stutter.
There we go.
That
character's got a stutter.
Yeah,
that'll do it.
I can just extend it, and I can get an editor to do that.
What's the best time travel film?
I like. There's the stutter. I like Time Crimes.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely amazing, and it's one that I like to kind of throw out at people and say you've got to check it out. It's the simplicity of the way it's shot and everything like that. It's beautiful. It's
nice, because they were going to remake it with Tom Cruise.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, and I'm guessing that fell apart. And part of the reason why I like Time Crimes so much is he's just a normal looking bloke. He's not a handsome Tom Cruise. He's not a leading man.
Yeah.
Look, he's just a normal looking bloke. Yeah. Have you seen? Because when my dad died 3 years ago, I bought loads of time travel films. I just went nuts and bought loads of time travel films. Some were brilliant, some were rubbish. The first one I bought, I can't remember what it's called, but it's this guy, and I didn't know, I wish I hadn't watched it first. It's this guy who's he's got this CB radio, and when he's on the CB, he can talk to his dead dad and I was watching that, I was going, why have I watched this one?
I remember hearing of that.
But there's a brilliant Czechoslovakian film called Tomorrow I Will Scald Myself with a Hot Cup of Tea.
Oh, wow. I mean, the name's a winner.
Oh, man, it's a 70s film. It's slightly flawed because he's got an identical twin, and a bit of it is based on the whole mix-up of twins.
Right.
But it's set in the 70s, and in Czechoslovakia, and the guy goes back in time to kill Hitler. It's a classic premise.
Yeah, it's legendary.
You should check that out.
Have you seen? Is it called Predetermination or Predetermination?
Is that the one where he's his own mum and dad?
It's Ethan Hawke, and it's just
Spoiler alert, by the way. Sorry, guys.
It really is. It's one of them. I remember I made someone else watch it with me because I was like, the beautiful thing here is there's a point you're going to go, I think this might be awful. Then there's going to be a point where you go, this is definitely awful. Then a point where you're like, man, this is awful. Then by the end, you have to be like, well, fair play, because they really, they really, like, each point you're like, No.
Yeah.
I was
explained
impressed.
it to Kath, and like literally a minute into the explanation, she was laughing at me. I thought, she's probably right.
Yeah, again, it's silly, but it is. It's because it was willing to go so far that you're like, well, respect for that.
We got a couple of calls. Julie.
Hello,
Julie. You're live on the radio of all places.
I was speaking to you earlier about the jinx this week and saying how much.
Hang on a second. Mm-hmm. Because Pip is also a huge fan of Bob Durst
from
the
amazing,
Jinx. We were
isn't it?
talking
Yeah.
about it before the show.
What a show!
Because I was looking forward to hearing the Scroobius Pip on it.
Are you someone tickling you? What's going on there, woman?
Well, this is it. All of a sudden, I kind of got to the stage where I want to call in, and now I'm second-guessing myself on what to say, and I feel a little bit starstruck, tongue-tied.
So you've spoken to me before, Julie. Oh, you mean because Pip's here? Oh, I see. Very clever.
I understand. And
so, actually, talking about films, which is not what I was going to say, but have you seen Kung Fu Elliot?
I haven't. I was told about this.
We Kung Fu Elliot is a really interesting film. That it's a documentary about this Canadian karate master, who wants to be Canada's like sort of Chuck Norris, Jackie Chan. So he makes his own karate films, and his wife films them and edits them. But as the story goes on, it becomes clear that A, he's cheating on his wife by going to orgies, and B, he's quite possibly a fantasist. And it's one of those documentaries, there's a real controversy about it. Is it real or is it fake? And when we talked about it on the show, we were all arguing, is it real or is it fake? I've come to the conclusion after speaking to the directors and speaking to Elliot, I believe it's 100% genuine. 99% genuine.
And in which case, are you enjoying it on a genuine level, or is there any guilt now of feeling that you're laughing at someone?
That's a really good question. I don't think there's any guilt. I don't think there's any guilt because he comes over as so unpleasant in his attitude towards his not his wife, it's his girlfriend, and to the filmmakers and stuff. Yeah. So. No, and I don't. The film's not really because it's not. You're not laughing at him. Well, you are a little bit. Yeah. You are a little bit actually.
I need to check it out.
It's good.
Look forward to this.
Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah,
Netflix, isn't it? Does that answer your question, Julie?
It does, but I just wanted to say, well, to both of you actually, thank you for dealing with mental health issues in a way in which they're kind of open and talks about freely, because sometimes I just kind of despair in humanity, and the fact that someone's willing to be a bit open and honest about things, I find really refreshing. So, but that's kind of both of you that I wanted to say.
Again, I mean, it's kind of similar to what we were saying earlier. It feels crazy to me that that's something that you need to be congratulated for.
Absolutely.
It should just be the way things are. I've said before, humans aren't designed to deal with everything on their own. You go all the way back in history, and there's shaman or the elders or whoever else. That's counselling. That's counsellors. That's talking to people about issues and being open about your fears and weaknesses. And we've kind of developed into this world where you need to be congratulated for talking about stuff that. Yeah. Well, why wouldn't you talk? It's real and serious.
Why wouldn't you help someone?
Yeah,
why wouldn't you help someone? Why wouldn't you do the right thing? Yeah. It should be kind of common sense. Yeah. Like you say, it shouldn't be congratulated, but unfortunately, it's not something that everyone does.
It's that thing about.
Thank you very much.
No, Julie, it's that thing about. I don't know what the suicide rate is for women, and it doesn't. It'd be really interesting to find out what it is actually. But between 20 and 45, suicide is the biggest killer of men.
It's gone up to 50 now. It's recently been updated to 50. I work a lot with Calm, who deal with that, and it's madness. It's the biggest killer of men, and you'd automatically guess drugs or
cancer or cars or smoke.
Cars, But it's like no, it's suicide.
We went to Kath and I went to a shindig hosted by Samaritans on, was it Monday? We went to up BT Tower. We got to go up BT Tower. And it was incredible. They get a phone call every 6 seconds. Yeah. And I've called Samaritans before when I've been suicidal, when I've been at my wit's end, because I couldn't phone a friend up and say, I'm thinking of going into the woods with a bit of rope today. But phoning up a stranger, and they don't solve it and they don't fix it, but it just eases that pressure enough.
It's what I think is so special about the Samaritans is that they're not allowed to have any kind of agenda. They're not allowed to advise you against anything even, which blew my mind. My mum became a Samaritan a few years back.
My mum was a Samaritan
and
a while ago.
It really... a lot of people would be put off if they think they're going to ring someone up and they're going to go, don't do it. Stop, do you know what I mean? But if they're just going to go, look, do you want to talk about anything? And the fact is, there's times when they have to just be there for someone in their last hours. And I've had suicide close to me in my life in the past, and I've lost people and been through some unusual things. But I do think that as humans, we all have our own choices. And as much as I think it's important to talk about these choices to stop people going down that route, it's also important to acknowledge that it's an individual right. If your life, you know, particularly with people who have illnesses or anything and things like that, you've got a right. If you've really got to your wit's end, I mean, it's not something I go on about a lot, but I lost a friend of mine, and he took his own life on his 21st birthday, and at the time it was horrendous. But now looking back, he had a lot of mental health issues, and what he kind of said to himself was, look, this isn't any way to live. I'll give it until my 21st birthday. And then he called it a day. And as horrible as that was for everyone who lived, for him, he was rational in my mind about it and said, look, I'm not being fixed. He was getting help. He was trying to get help. It's not fixed, so I'm good. I'm gonna call it a day. It wasn't a cry for help or any of this. It was like, I'm checking out. And do you know what I mean? We all have a right to that. I'm doing a podcast next week with the people who do the Right to Die a charity about people having their right to their own choices as a human. It's interesting because not so much nowadays, but you still sometimes hear that suicide is the cowardly way out. And I don't. It's not cowardly. No. It's not cowardly. No. It's a symptom of a disease. You know, an actual disease. Yeah. And also, you know, people who get that close to it, I think there's an element of braveness about it. It's not in any way to encourage people or anything like that. No, I just think that to make that decision is a brave thing. But again, it's not to encourage. But again, it's talking about these things openly. Yeah. I think Britain is traditionally a Catholic country, and I think that's where a lot of our taboo on suicide comes from. Because it's a sin. It's a sin against God. Not many of us are Catholics, or a lot of the country aren't Catholic anymore. Yet we still have this thing of it's this dirty, dark secret, which makes people, if they are considering it, scared to get help or to discuss it because they're in the wrong. You're not in the wrong. That can be discussed. That can be hopefully talked out and solved. And as you said, I think Samaritan's a wonderful resource for that. We'll talk more about karma in a minute, because I want to find out a bit more. Julie, thank you for that. Thank you. Cheers, my dear. Speak to you later on. 0844 499 1000. Trish, stay there. I'll come to you after this.
Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
There we go. Sorry, Pip. What we were saying, can we say that on air? Okay, sure, carry on. So we're talking about Samaritans. We were discussing Samaritans, and one of the things that, again, it shows how big it is to talk to people. Each Samaritan shift, there's another Samaritan who's on call at home. Yeah. And their job, essentially, is at the end of the shift to have all the people who are in there to call them and offload if they need to. Yeah. So you just have to tell them who called in and what happened. And that's how you don't go home with the weight of the world on your shoulders. Because, again, you can imagine if you're having a busy night, there's a lot of heavy stuff coming your way. But that offloading process, that ringing someone else and going, look, here's what happened. It was harsh, but, you know, he seemed all right in the end, or she seemed okay, and this, that. And then, do you know what I mean? It lifts it off your shoulders. So it's a proven thing. It's an amazing service. I think, Kath, can you find, it's 116123, I think, but can you double check that just to make sure I've got it right? Because it's free. Yeah. And it's amazing. And it's completely anonymous. You can give a false name as well if that makes it even easier for you to call them up. Yeah. And it literally saves lives. So it's 116123, right? Okay, yeah. That's the number if you want to call it, and it's free. And they can't hang up on you unless you're being incredibly abusive. I think they've changed it now that if there's, you know, but yeah, I mean it's an equally damning reflection on society that a large percentage of Samaritan calls are sexual or abusive, or prank calls or abusive. It's not. But even then, there's a beauty to the patience of these people, because even then they're like, right, it might be someone being creepy and abusive, but they might be being creepy or because they need to talk to someone and they're not feeling comfortable with it. Yeah. So even then there's a level of, right, let's hear this out. Yeah. And then if it gets to a certain point, then right, I'm not going to listen to you
finish.
We've got. That was one of the things. That was one of the reasons my mum left, because she said, I keep getting these people phoning up and masturbating down the phone to me. I really hope that. Yeah. So she stopped it. Bless herself. Triss is on the line. Good evening, Triss.
Hello, hip, hip, hip.
Hip, hip, hip. Triss, what you got for us, boss?
I just wanted to talk to Pip, actually.
Oh, hello. I'll go, shall I? It's like that, is it, Triss?
Oh, well, I'll talk to you.
We were so close, and now it's ended.
Yeah, well. Hello, mate.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I really dig you, actually. I dig your first album, Dan Lassac, especially.
Thank you very much.
Your Distraction Pieces album as well, I think.
Excellent, thank you.
Really good, and I play that a lot. I'm not really immersed terribly in that sort of musical world.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really into Buck 65.
Yep.
And I quite like some Fat Lip stuff.
Yep.
But what's around at the minute that I should be checking out in a similar vibe?
I mean, it's something I get a lot. I've always had a lot of people say, I'm not into hip hop, but I'm into your stuff. And it's like, well, before I started making my stuff, I was listening to hip. Do you know what I mean? There's people who have influence. And Buck 65 is an influence, and he's a label mate of mine in America. There's people like Sage Francis and B. Dolan who are absolutely amazing. A guy called POS, who I adore. And yeah, there's a lot of really good hip hop out there. And Sage Francis was the first person I heard doing rap that was vulnerable, that was about having your heart broken and stuff like that. And I was like, This is rap. It's meant to be all tough guy and women and so. And he had numerous songs like that.
Problem is, it's got a real sort of violent connotations to it, isn't it? From the whole gangster thing that went on before.
That's the lazy perception of it, isn't it? Oh, it's all guns and it's all shooting policemen and it's all a bit misogynistic and homophobic. But I'm assuming, because I don't know the hip hop world that well, I'm assuming that is a percentage of the output.
A percentage, and it's a valid percentage, because there's places in the world where particularly black males are being put through the ringer, and I think. As much as you don't have to listen to it, I think it's hugely important that a lot of that is out there, that's being reflected, even if it isn't always positive. Yeah. Their lives aren't always positive, so that's something else. But yeah, completely that. There's such a wide spectrum of different people with just intellectual outlooks and inputs, and yeah, it's beautiful that there's that much range and variation. It excites me that there's a genre that can comment so quickly on any subject and any political action. I mean, speaking of the black community and threat in America at the moment, essentially, hip hop's such a powerful and amazing voice that if a young man is killed, there can be a track out a day or two later saying, "Look, this isn't acceptable." And the fact is, culture and art are the ways of getting through to people, and are one of the ways of getting through to people and making a difference. There's only a certain kind of person who will be listening to every Senate speech or protest or things like that. Whereas if you can articulate these things in a song and say, "Look, here's why we are angry," then that can be so powerful.
Was your first tour? Did I read this right? Driving around the country. And then when they were finding where a show was on, and going and performing to the queue outside.
Yeah, that was it. I did a thing where I was like, I called it the Relying on the Kindness of Strangers tour, and the idea was I'll play on street corners. If someone's got a party, I'll come and play any of this. And I found out really quick that the busiest part of a town is the town's centre. Yeah. That's also the part of the town who have the least interest in hearing a 6'4" white bearded man do poetry or hip hop. Like it didn't work. Like I'd try it in these busy places, it wouldn't work. So me and my mate Chris had the idea of going, like, we'll get to each town and we'll look at the gig listings. And Buck 65 is one of the people who are played outside his gig, because the fact is, if Buck 65 is in Manchester, he's going to get most of my target audience quite literally line them up against a wall for me, and I can just turn up there and perform. And another key part of that for me was to not ask for money, because I think when you're busking, as British people, we have a certain auto response to busking. You even if it's the most talented person in the world, you kind of head down. I don't want to give them money, you ignore it. So at the start I say, look, you've paid for a gig. There's going to be some great support acts. This is an extra support act. I'd give them a flyer, so if they wanted to find out more afterwards, that they could. But yeah, I've had people come to gigs years and years on from that who first saw me
isn't that genius?
in a queue outside
You're right,
a gig.
it's a brilliant idea. It's your captive audience. Those are the people going to...
And again, it's all those who, if you're playing in the town centre, they could be in their bedroom, or they could be at their mate's house, or there could be another gig on. Whereas, as I said, the likelihood of the people who are most open to what I'm doing are all going to be there at that point.
It's funny you mentioned the blindness towards buskers, because I've got 2 little boys who are 6 and 4, and if there's someone good playing, we'll stop and we'll have a boogie. We'll have a little dance in the street, you know, we'll love it. And I'll say, look, this person is doing this because they want to make a few quid, but also they're showing us their talent. We should, if they're rubbish, then, you know. Yeah. But let's just stand here, let's have a little dance, and then here's a quid each, go and put it in their hat. And the boys love it, you know.
Yeah.
They hear someone playing whatever it is down the street, they'll run off and go and have a... Go and have a watch.
That's great. I mean, it's such a rare thing, though. So many people are auto-programmed to do that, just to head down. And as I said, I guarantee you could get some huge people to busk on the street, and a lot of people wouldn't notice, because despite what they're hearing, they're not wanting to make eye contact, they're not wanting to look up, they're not wanting to have that guilt.
It's the same with homeless people as well, that there's a deafness and a blindness. And I'll always, at the very, very least, if someone says, I'll say I've got no change, sorry, or if I have no change, or I'll say hello, or I'll say you're all right. And there have been a few occasions, it used to happen a lot in Soho, the homeless people would recognise me because I was on TV a few years ago. And if I had time, I'd sit and have a chat with them and just to have a chat with them, because they do become street furniture to a lot of people. You know, it's just like...
I think they're seen as animals, really, because the number of people that just sort of physically step round them or sort of make a deliberate point of ignoring them, I find it really disgusting, that sort of lack of humanity, just because someone's down on their luck.
I think I can kind of understand why people do it.
I think there's an element of fear of what we don't understand, because again, it's really hard to get your head round how someone can get to that point. How a family member hasn't stepped in, how numerous other things haven't intervened. So it's a really hard one to get your head around.
I've always said that I'm a little bit more blessed. I got a few quid in the bank, but I think we're all a couple of paychecks, a couple of bits of bad luck, and a bad decision away from being in that position.
Completely.
You know.
I also wonder if when people ignore them as well, it's sort of embarrassment by your peers. If you seem to sort of associate with people like that, you're sort of...
I'm sure there's all kinds of things, Tris. I'm sure there's embarrassment. I'm sure there's shame. I'm sure there's fear because I don't know how to react to that person. In some people, there might be disgust. You know, there's all kinds of... And listen, I'm not saying that I go around, you know, shaking everybody's hand and giving them £50 notes and stuff. I don't. But if they recognise me, I'll certainly engage in a conversation. I remember talking to this guy once who recognised me. I sat down talking to him, and the police turned up, and he said, "You should probably go now." And I said, "Why is that?" He said, "Oh, because they're about to hassle me, and that I don't want you to get involved."
Oh, man.
And I said, "If you want me to stick around, I'll stick around. You know, it doesn't bother me." And he said, "No, it's probably better if you go." And I went and watched, and they went and had words with him. They left him, but the fact that he'd accepted that at that point in his life, that was his lot. I think he did have a drug problem.
It's taken away his humanity, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it is.
I think the key part here, and we've been doing it in many ways, is remembering that it's all individuals with individual stories. It's not a case of homeless people. Because again, I think I was going to say about some people who feel their peers might look at them weird. There's a lot of people who say you shouldn't give homeless people money because they'll spend it on drugs and so on and so forth. And there is a variation. There's a different story in each one. I had a girl on the podcast called Ramel, and she was a refugee from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and she'd fled through horrendous conditions and war, and she came to this country seeking asylum and ended up homeless. And the thing that she highlighted as one of the most painful parts of all of it was the people that wouldn't even look her in the eye. She'd come here expecting this change. And I mean, the beautiful thing, again, we'll sling a spoiler alert in here, but the beautiful thing is when she was finally granted asylum status, which until then you can't work, you can't study, you can't earn, all of this. When she was finally granted asylum status, which I think was 7 years after she got here, within 3 years she graduated with a degree in biochemistry. And that's legit. And it's like I'm sitting there with this amazing woman, and she's like,
she's just waiting
for 7 years.
For that time.
I couldn't Like, no matter how good my work ethic is, I couldn't. I had to be homeless. I had to beg, and I had to be looked down on as a.
Other radio shows will be doing those lazy immigrants, not refugees, lazy immigrants coming over, not working. Well, as you say, because legally they're not allowed to do anything.
I mean, it's a thing that slays me the most. I always remember I had a bit of a go at a mate of mine who did who reposted a Britain First post, and it said illegal immigrants getting more benefits than pensioners, and a friend of mine, Iain, jumped on and said, just gave a link to fullfact.org and said, look, they've broken down the story, it's inaccurate, blah blah blah. And I, not as patient, kind of went, mate, just read the title. Illegal immigrants, they can't get benefits. They're illegal. If they're illegal immigrants, they can't be claiming benefits. So it should tell you everyone should do research, but even if it's just reading the title, it's like, that's not possible. Because if you're an illegal immigrant, you can't claim benefits because you're illegal. It's ridiculous. We're going to have one more quick break. Then we've got Sam, we've got Rashid, and we may be able to squeeze in a couple more calls. Tris, thank you for that. 0844 499 1000. This is to anyone out there that's listening. From everyone that ever let you down and went missing. Lovers, parents, best friends and siblings. Sometimes life conspires to make liars of good men. This is to anyone out there that's listening. From everyone that ever let you down and went missing. Lovers, parents, best friends and siblings. Sometimes life conspires to make liars of good men. I'm sorry I wasn't who you thought I was. I'm sorry I wasn't who I thought I was. I said no matter what, I'd always be there, but that wasn't honest, because I'm not, and because that ain't how life goes. Broken promise. Growing up, I always thought I was one of the good guys. I thought it was black and white like that I could nurture my good side. But after it was hurting, I've stripped pride, both on the surface and inside. I wasn't cursed with a dark side, I was just normal. Average, regular, nothing special, I'm telling you. Just being human makes you both God and the devil's clear replica. I've had my emotions crushed and maybe crushed a few along the way. And at the time, I meant every single word I would say. Every word of love and every word of hate. Every time I would adore and every time I'd berate. But time passes and sometimes those emotions...
I heard this song today. This is Broken Promises from Distraction Pieces, the album, not the book. I heard this today. I've edited it slightly because you got very potty mouth.
I swear a bit,
really,
I'm a bit
mate,
sweary.
come on now. It's a brilliant album.
Thank you.
But that song, man... That song just touched the nerve. It's powerful stuff.
Thank you very much. It's kind of nice. It's weird because on every album I've done, there's been a song or two that I don't know are about kind of heavier stuff, and we've talked about domestic violence in songs. We've talked about suicide and all sorts of things. And again, it's that thing as we were saying earlier. Putting these things into songs is important to discuss them, and this isn't attacking at all, but it's easy for Coldplay to do an interview about a cause. 20% of their audience will hear that interview. 100% of that audience will hear their song, and it will be another song about love or whatever else it is. And it's like, well, I always felt early on that there's a responsibility there then to go, right, if there's stuff that I'm passionate about, you pop it into a song and try and discuss that in a palatable manner.
And it used to happen in kind of like pop and sort of rock in the 60s and 70s. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. When the killings of I think it was 6 students at Ohio State University in 1971. They wrote a song, and a week later, in the days when it took a long time to get a record out, a week later they knocked their own single out of the charts because they'd recorded this song, and no one does it in pop or rock anymore. And interestingly enough, there's a brilliant Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young documentary from it was before Obama was president, so 8, 9, 10 years ago, where Neil Young kind of says there's no one singing any anti-war songs about the Gulf War.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do it again. And they do this tour. They go out on a tour, and everyone's expecting the greatest hits. And the first half is greatest hits. The second half is this Neil Young album. I can't remember what it's called, but the whole thing's about anti-war. Yeah. It's got a song called Let's Impeach the President for Lying. Yeah. And this documentary is brilliant because they're playing in the southern states and half the audience are giving them the finger and walking out and going, this is disgusting. They shouldn't be. I've not come here to hear Neil Young and David Crosby ram their political nonsense down my throat.
Yeah.
And this is in like 2006, 2007 and it's
exciting and engaging. One of the guys I mentioned earlier, B. Dolan, who's on my record label, he does a song that samples Which Side Are You On?
Yeah.
A classic protest song. And in it, he addresses misogyny in hip-hop, homophobia in hip-hop, the shame that a lot of the legends and greats in hip-hop are really homophobic and will say homophobic slurs and things like that, and addresses that. And seeing him do that tour in America, as again, he's from Providence, Rhode Island, so he's a real kind of burly East Coast rapper. And he's out there at hip-hop festivals, at hip-hop shows going, look, this isn't right, man. And again, he'll tell you he loves looking out in the crowd and seeing those who are angry and disagree. And then gradually, as he's building his audience more and more, seeing how uncomfortable they have to become. Yeah. Rather than them making women uncomfortable at shows or anything else, they're the ones that now have to feel uncomfortable because everyone is too strong now. Everyone else is on board and going, nah, you can't do that, man. It's not acceptable.
The hour's nearly up. We should talk about the book.
Yes.
The Distraction Pieces. It's... well, you explain what it is.
Well, basically, I was approached to do a book based on the podcast, and the publisher Octopus was like, we could just pick the top 5 and we'll transcribe them.
Yeah.
And that didn't really appeal because that just felt like it's a cash-in. It might sell some, but it didn't really have any merit. And we came up with the idea instead of dividing it into chapters. And as we've seen from this discussion, there's certain things that seem to come up a lot. So, for example, mental health.
Yeah.
I realised that was a theme that came up a lot in the podcast. So I kind of went, right, we can have a mental health chapter and have the section from the Gal Porter interview where she was committed into a mental hospital, and then have the section from the Eddie Temple Morris interview where he speaks of his planning of his suicide, and then have the section from the Tom Robinson interview where he talks about the fact that, and this is a guy who's on the radio, I've engaged with, it's a real living person, it's not reading about it in textbook. When he realised he was gay, not only was it a taboo, not only was it awkward, it was illegal.
Yeah.
This is a man that's alive now in England, and it was illegal when he realised he was attracted to men. So I could put all these together, and then you could have, like, there's a creative, a process chapter, and just all sorts of other stuff. A race chapter. Also, it's not all heavy. There's like comedy and music and films. But it suddenly, I was like, right, regardless of if you've listened to the podcast or not now, it became just hugely exciting for me because it felt like it became far greater than the sum of its parts.
I found it inspiring.
Yeah.
And it was, the first 3 chapters, the comedy and the movies, creative process and music, I was just devouring it. And it was, I had a really creative weekend where I've got all these other little projects going on, and I sat down and I did loads of stuff and finished projects and started new ones. Because this book is... It made me feel that anything is possible.
Yeah.
I'm really lucky I've ended up doing this job. You're really lucky, but we've worked at it.
Yeah.
But I grew up on a council estate in Slough. You grew up wherever you grew up.
Yeah.
These things are attainable to people with a bit of luck and hard work.
And that was one of the most fascinating things. And in the creative process bit, there is some technical ideas and things like that, some constructive stuff that you can actually apply. But it stunned me throughout the podcast, talking to people from Simon Pegg to Russell Brand to Billy Bragg to Killer Mike to Kate Tempest, from all these different areas. All of them seem to agree that the main thing is that they did it.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. It's like, we just did it.
Who is it who gives the line in there about, it's Rufus Hound.
Yeah.
About doing stand-up, and he goes to talk to someone about starting stand-up or something, and they go, just go and just do it.
Just go and do it. It was after the book was done. I had Ed Skrein on, who was in Deadpool, and he's a great actor, and his was one of the most inspirational episodes because, and again, I'll edit it for cleanness on radio.
Thank you.
He said years ago he just came up with the motto of why not? Like, why not me? It was like, if you watch any film, there's going to be someone on there in a big role that you've no idea who they are and you've never heard of. Why can't that be me?
Yeah.
And again, he was in Ill Manners, but then has gone on, as said, to Deadpool, to huge films, all on that basis. And it's that thing of, well, yeah, someone needs to be doing this, and it could just as easily be me as anyone else.
Me and Kath had a meeting the other day to try and sell an idea. It was a really good idea to try and sell an idea, and we were both nervous. And I've done this once. I managed to pull this off once before. I said, what we're going to do is, when we go in there, we're going to act, and we are going to pretend that we are those people that are really good at meetings and good at selling stuff. It's how I got the job here.
Yeah.
I came in and I said, you need me on your station.
Yeah.
I can't do that normally. And we went into this meeting, and we said to them, you need us to do this, because this is a really strong idea, and we'll take it somewhere else. And they've shown a really strong interest. And it is, and we both came out going, oh my God, I can't believe we did that.
Yeah.
It was terrifying. And but someone's got to do it. Someone's got to get those gigs.
It's that relaxedness, and I think it's why I started acting last year, and I really enjoy auditions, which is meant to be the worst part that everyone hates, but I think it's because of that comfort. It's like, right, I might not be right for this, and that's all right.
Yeah.
It's that kind of comfort. It's like, I'll go in and do my best, but there could be someone who comes in next week who's got this really just weird nose, and it's perfect for this character.
Yeah.
I haven't got that nose, so I couldn't be that. And it's that comfort of, well, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't, but how great is it to be involved in it and to get to have a go and play about with all this?
Pip, we've got to win. We've got 15 seconds. The podcast, if they type in Scroobius Pip in their usual podcast provider, it pops up.
Or Distraction Pieces is the easiest way. It's the name of the podcast, and we've had over 100 guests now, and
And your website, if people want to come and have a look,
scroobiuspip.co.uk, which has got a Distraction Pieces section and all that other stuff.
I look forward to meeting you at some point, because I'm coming on your show.
Yes, I'm having you on. Can't wait.
Thank you, man. All right, coming up after the news, it's the guy whose cat received a phone call from Noel Edmonds. You couldn't make it up.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Talk Radio. We'll get you talking. Talk Radio.
It's 11 o'clock. Here's the latest news.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Yesterday was kind of like the 4th of July. The way your face lit up the entire sky. Had to look away because it hurt my eyes. The way you hit me was a big surprise. Yesterday I really didn't know what to say. I wasn't making any sense, but I felt okay. Ask you if it was my birthday. This kind of thing don't happen every day. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. I didn't think an angel would get in my way. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. I didn't think an angel would get in my way. Yesterday I felt just like a
bum a cigarette. That's an uplift. Thank you. That's an uplifting song, and here's what I'm doing. Every time we get a musical guest on the show, I give them an Imani Coppola mixtape that I've made up, because the world needs to know. Rashid, stay there. You've been waiting. I will come to you. I promise. We've got another guest. You can call in, dear listener, 0844 499 1000. You may remember... when was it? A couple of months ago when we were talking about Noel Edmonds. Noel Edmonds was talking about he had the cancer box, didn't he? We kind of talked about it because Edmonds had engaged with Vaughan, one of the listeners to this show, engaged with him on Twitter. So we talked about it for a bit. And we went and had a look at Noel Edmonds' website. Do you remember this? And there was a thing on there about how if your pet was... I'm paraphrasing, and I may be remembering this slightly wrong, and I'm sure my next guest will correct me if I am. If you've got a pet, whatever it may be, pets get depressed and pets get stressed and stuff. If you registered on Noel Edmonds' website, he might call up and speak to your pet. That was what he said. And we all looked at this and we all kind of went, ho, 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 ho. And I think some of you may have registered your details. I know I did, and we thought nothing of it. And then today, loads of people on Twitter were sending me a link to an article in The Guardian, written by a gentleman called Peter Ormerod. And it's a brilliant, brilliant article. I'll tweet it. I'll retweet it in the next half hour or so. Peter joins me on the line now. Good evening, Peter.
Hello, Ian.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, Peter. Thanks so much for... we've been chatting on email. I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight.
Pleasure.
Have I got that right? What was the call to arms on Noel's website?
Yeah, I was just sort of browsing through it, just as one does on Noel's website, and there was a thing saying phone a pet, I think it was, and I just clicked on it among various other things, but clicked on that, and it said something about, I'll call your pet. Pets can feel a bit down and despondent from time to time and need a bit of encouragement and motivation. So, perhaps like various other people, I thought nothing to lose here. Fill in my details, a bit of information about the cat, what the cat likes, and so on. And
well, that was one of the questions. What does your cat like doing? Wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was, and just submitted that. Just sort of forgot about it, to be honest, until 12:26 on Saturday.
What happened?
I saw I had a private number calling my phone, which was the second private number I'd had in half an hour, and I'd ignored the first one. Oh. And then which actually provokes rather tragic image of Noel Edmonds ringing up and just going through to someone's voicemail. But anyway, the second time I thought, well, this person's very persistent. This might actually be quite important. So I answered the phone, and the voice on the other end didn't recognise it at all. Said, "What kind of cake?" And I thought, what?
That was the opening line. No, hello, or is this Peter?
None of that at all. No. What kind of cake? And I thought, what? Sorry, what on earth's going on here? And then I suddenly remembered. Hang on a minute. Last time I was thinking about cake was when I was writing about how my cat liked cake, and I was saying Noel Edmonds, how my cat liked cake, and then it suddenly dawned on me who owned the voice on the other end of the phone, and there proceeded an endearingly, eccentrically odd conversation.
That is right. Fair play. Whatever people think about Edmonds, right? To have that as your opening gambit on a phone call that's not particularly expected, answering a question or asking an additional question to something you filled in on a form a while ago. What kind of cake? That I think that's either genius or it's insane.
Yes. Isn't it just that? But I think the whole experience sort of teetered along that particular tightrope.
And did he? So he then asked for your. Are we allowed to know your cat's name, Peter, or is that private?
I haven't actually asked her permission.
Okay, in that case,
but no, it's fine. I'll breach her anonymity and tell you that her name is Tawny.
Tawny, okay.
Tawny, Tawny.
Okay, well, I'm sure she's delightful. I'm sure she's not as nice as my cat Velvet, but that's by the by. Let's put that
she's
to one
way
side.
better than Velvet.
So, did he then say, "Can I speak to Tawny"? Did he say? He say this is Noel? Did you go? Oh, is this Noel Edmonds?
No, I didn't because I knew who it was by then, so I couldn't. it would have felt odd to then say, "Is this Noel Edmonds?" Because I knew it was Noel Edmonds. And at some point we had a brief discussion about soft furnishings. He was very surprised to hear I had any interest at all in soft furnishings. I don't rarely have a great interest, but that somehow came up. And the various the sort of the decoration of our sofa and things like that, and then it progressed to, "Oh, can I speak to Tawny?"
He actually said those words. Can I speak to Tawny?
He did. He did. I believe. I mean, to be honest, the specifics of the conversation are actually a little bit cloudy, because for most of the time I was thinking, what on earth is going on here? I was trying my best to focus on it, but I was also, there was about 79% of my brain was thinking, what on earth's going on? And I was very grateful that my wife was around just to corroborate it was actually happening, because otherwise, I don't know, I think I was having some sort of fugue.
I've got to ask Pete, because I would have done this. Did you then go and get Tawny and bring her to the phone and hold the phone to her ear?
What happened? That's a very pleasing image, isn't it?
Yeah,
very pleasing image.
That's what I would have done.
What actually happened? Well, Tawny was in her usual position, actually, on the back of a sofa, reclining, and I put the phone to her ear. So most of that scenario that you just outlined poetically was actually realised. Yeah,
and.
I know. It's
brilliant.
Yeah, I know. Gasps and what on earth? But
no, it's genius. Did you hear any of what he said to her, or did she tell you?
Speakerphone. No, I asked if I had it on speakerphone, and I did at that point, and I did hear it. It was sort of encouraging, motivational stuff that you'd expect of Noel. I mean, he believes in positive thinking.
Yeah.
And the power of motivation, and he thinks that can have genuine beneficial physical effects and mental effects and so on, and he was obviously very sincere about it.
And how has Tawny been since the phone call? Have you noticed any change in her behaviour?
It's difficult to discern any. I mean, she's fairly furry around the face anyway, so if she was trying to grow a beard, it'd be pretty hard to tell.
Yeah.
She seems pretty much herself. But then who knows? Maybe if Noel hadn't called, she'd be worse than she is.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's no control, is there, in this experiment? So it's difficult to.
It's tough to assess. And then did the phone go dead, or did you say goodbye, or how did it end?
The phone. It ended with just a mild continuation of the slightly odd topics that we had been discussing, and that was that really. And then we sort of got on with our day. Although what else? I know, but that's sort of it, because it was one of those things that was just so impossible to process in any sort of normal way. That we just thought, well, that happened. It just doesn't bear any relation to normality. We just need to proceed with our shopping now. So it's very, very, very curious. One thing I would say in terms of Noel is that I think I was struck by his sincerity and his genuine desire, to make people's lives a bit better and to make animals' lives a bit better. And extend positivity. And although this can easily be labelled under the Noel's a bit weird, isn't he? File.
Yeah.
He's I think he's generally trying to do good for the world, I don't want to be too down on him about it, because I think he was
Do you think it's showing you by coincidence he's filming a new TV series for Channel 4? I mean, if this was Banksy doing this, or Tracy Emin, or
it'd be art. It would be art,
wouldn't it?
Yeah,
wouldn't it? We'd be going
art. I mean, it'd be a really interesting sort of analysis into people's domestic lives and so on. But but it isn't, is it?
No.
It isn't. I don't think it actually is that, which is the problem. But I think, you know, as I say, I think Noel's a good person. He's trying his best because. You know, he has various beliefs about the world that may be different from mainstream, but maybe the mainstream's wrong. Who knows? And I think it's only fair to him to give him the benefit of any doubt we may have around his motives or well-being. Frankly,
Peter, I wish you and I wish Tawny all the best of luck in the future. And,
bless you, thank you, Ian.
No, I've just tweeted the link to the article because it's a brilliant read. It really is. It's so well done. And thanks for getting back in touch. And if Noel calls again, do let us know, won't you?
I will do, of course, Ian.
Thanks, Peter. Have a good night.
Pleasure.
Thank you, mate. Bye bye. It is the most. Honestly, I've just tweeted the link to the Guardian piece. It's a cracking read, right? It's an absolutely cracking read. But it is we got a bit angry with Noel before. But I kind of like that. I think that's genius. I think that's actual genius. And part of me is angry that I didn't think of it first. Do you know what I mean? Thank you, Peter. Busy show this evening. Couple of guests. We go back to normal service being resumed after this upcoming break. Alan's lined up. Katia's lined up, or she's phoned up to complain, I'm not sure. You can call in as well, dear listener. 0844 499 1000. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Late night Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
499 1000. 0844 499 1000. Normal service resumes. Elliot, well, if we can have the music on the quarters, just take the beds off of the top of the hour and the half hour, if that's all right. Thank you, sir. It has buggered off somewhere on a holiday or so. A holiday? So we've got Elliot sitting in for him, who I used to work with at another radio station, LBC. So that's nice. Nice to see you on the other side of the screen again, like the old days. Let's hope we don't get the sack from this one. Thank you. Matthew!
Hi, Ian. It's great to hear your voice.
Hey, Matthew. How you doing, man? You all right?
I've been... Yeah, not too bad. I have one very simple question.
Yes, sir.
What on earth do you mean when you say tick your radio diaries now?
Well, what I'm saying is tick your radar diaries, and it's really boring. The radar is the old-fashioned way that we measure how many people are listening to radio stations. All radio stations do it, and it's a really weird, archaic way, but it's the best way we've got at the moment. And basically, a random number of people around the country will get a knock on their door and someone will say, hello, I'm from Radar. Do you listen to the radio? Yes. Would you like to fill in this Radar diary? I don't know if you get it for a week or a month. I'm not sure how long you get it. And basically what you're supposed to do is if you listen to, let's say you listen to Paul Ross in the morning on Talk Radio, you're supposed to go to this diary and go on Monday the 16th, you're supposed to tick every 15 minutes that you've listened to Paul Ross. And then maybe you'll listen to Jeremy Vine on Radio 2 for half an hour. So you then have to go to the Radio 2 column and go 12 till 12:30 I was listening. So you do those ticks. And that's how the listening figures are measured. Now, it's really unfair. It's really inaccurate. And radio stations, whenever they get good Radar figures, they go, oh, Radar's brilliant. And whenever they get bad Radar figures, they go, it's a flawed system. We really need to introduce a new method. But at the moment, it's the only method we've got of measuring people listening to the radio. Now, online and podcast is different because we can get really accurate figures on the online and people listening on talkradio.co.uk and people downloading the podcast. But in terms of people sat at home with a wireless, that's the only way we've got. And I'm doing it. I don't think I'm supposed to mention it on the radio. I remember I got told off at another place. I'm doing it partly as a tongue-in-cheek, two fingers to convention, but also partly because if you do have a Radar diary, please remember to tick it to say you've been listening to my show, guys.
Oh, okay, I see. So it's quite kind of like an antique thing where you actually tick a bit of paper to what you're listening to.
It's rubbish. There's it really is rubbish, and some stations, talk radio. I haven't seen a Radar Diary for a while, but because we're a new and a small station, it's quite possible we haven't even got a column in the book. So people would have to be trusted to write. You can make your own columns, right? So people would have to write their own. Radio 1 and Radio 2 and Absolute and all those stations, they would have a column in the book. But people would have to write in Talk Radio, probably have to write in Talk Sport 2 and some of the smaller stations. So it's rubbish, but it's all with... I remember about 5 years ago, there was a lot of talk of these watches. It may have been... It was either LBC, it may have been Talk Sport, actually, that wanted to introduce these watches that were digital, people would be given these watches to wear for a month, and it would register what you were listening to. But it never happened. So that's where we are, Matthew.
Okay, I see. I completely misunderstood for all these years. Yeah. I thought you were saying Radio Diary, and I thought something was going to happen on the show, and we'd know what day that thing would happen.
What did you think that thing might be?
I thought you were going to erupt or you were going to walk out or something massive was going to happen. No, sorry, mate. It's just me desperately trying to up my figures and to keep my job. That's all it is, Matthew. I do apologise. Okay, all right, mate. Well, keep up the good work.
Nice
Love
one.
Your show, and I hope you keep going for a long time.
Thank you, mate. I really appreciate your call. And it's funny, isn't it? I assume that people know all of my shorthands and all of my in-gags and all of stuff like Radar. And, of course, people don't. Most people don't know what a Radar Diary is. And thank you, Matthew, for reminding that to me. Reminding that to me? That's almost English. Catherine, could I possibly get the usual newspapers just on standing by, and then you can come in if you want. If you want, you can come on the radio with me, Catherine. Would you like that? Would you like that, dear listener? The woman's coming into the studio. Alan?
Yeah?
Yeah?
Have you Pip?
Yeah, Alan?
How are you, boss?
Do you know what? I'm been a long old day, tough old day, but I'm really uplifted after chatting to Scroobius Pip. Really uplifted,
I've
actually.
never heard of him.
There's no reason you should have done, really. What did you think?
Well, I don't know much about the guy, so I don't know what he's done or anything, because when Kath told me about him, he was a new face. Because I didn't have time to research him on Wikipedia.
Well, you don't need to. The thing is, right, the guests that we have on this show, they're all chosen by me. Sometimes they're suggested by Kath, but I have to be interested in that person. If I'm interested in that person, I know that a significant number of... I will be able to have an interesting conversation that a significant number of the listeners will be able to find. Do you want to come and sit in here with me? Yeah. We'll find interesting. She's not got headphones on yet, Alan, so she can't hear your sexist claptrap. But I don't know a lot about Pip. I'm aware of him. I've been aware of him for a few years, and I know little bits and pieces. But I just thought it would be really interesting to get him in and find out a bit more about him, and I hope people enjoyed it. I know I really did.
When are you going to get the Killer Whale of interviews?
The what? What did you say? The Killer Rose interview?
The Killer Whale.
The Killer Whale?
Davy Jones and the Monkees.
He's dead, mate.
Oh, no.
I hate to break it to you. If I get Davy Jones and the Monkees on the show, then we're talking to the other side. He died 4 years ago.
Oh, no. I think that's more of a Howard Hughes one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if anyone's going to get Davy Jones on, you're right. It's Howard Hughes, Alan, not me, mate.
What about Mickey Darland or Peter Talk?
Peter Talk, I don't think likes me.
Yeah?
Yeah. Mickey will come on at some point. It's his 14th wedding anniversary today.
Congratulations, Mickey.
Okay, congratulations, Mickey and Donna. We'll get Mickey on at some point. I'm confident of it.
And what about Mike Naismith?
Well, we were going to get Mike Nesmith in May, weren't we, Catherine?
Yeah,
Then he went cold.
I was talking to his daughter for a while, And then both stopped returning my emails.
Yeah, they just stopped. And I've sent him emails about something else, and he's, so
they bottled it.
That's right, Alan. Michael Nesmith bottled it. That's what happened. Who would you like, apart from the monkeys? And also, I am aware, Alan, I've really tried to cut down my monkeys talk quite considerably because it does annoy people. I know I've probably replaced it by talking about the Beach Boys, but those to one side. Who would you like to see on the show, Alan?
Steve Guttenberg.
Steve Guttenberg?
Mahoney from Police Academy.
We'll get Steve on. I say that, I sent him a text recently and he never replied to it.
What about Michael Winslow?
Michael Winslow, I wouldn't particularly want to talk to. Don't find it. He's the...
Oh, you get no sense out of that.
He's the one that does all the sound effects in the Police Academy films. We'll get Steve on. Steve will come on. I say friends with Steve Guttenberg. I went and had breakfast with him once and then took him out for a meal one night. That's all. I was only invited to his hotel for breakfast and I've got his personal phone number. We'll get Steve on at some point. I think that'll be nice.
Sounds brilliant.
Nice one, Alan.
Hip, hip, hip.
Up your bum. He's asking when we're going to get Davy Jones on.
Well,
it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. She's Catherine Boyle. Cat is after this.
Late night conversation worth losing sleep over.
Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Hello?
Hello?
Pampo.
Hello. Hi.
Pampo.
Pampo.
Hello. Well, that's not really...
Shut it, pal.
Okay.
A guzzler.
Have
I won?
Well, I'm going to say my story no matter what.
Just shut it, pal.
Yeah, I know.
Don't we get a word in edgeware here?
So, here's the story.
Here's... I'm a storyteller, and my story must be told.
I almost bottled out of today, and that's because of you, actually, I realised.
Thank you. I'm glad I could be an influence on someone's life.
Yeah.
When you say bottled out of today, do you mean, stayed in bed all day?
Well, I've been chasing this interview for a month, or I think, or more, probably, with...
You've been what?
Chasing an interview.
Chasing? You've been chasing?
An interview.
Chasing?
Yes, chasing.
You've been chasing?
Yes, you can do that, can't you?
You can chase an interview. Well, I don't... Here's the thing. I don't know what chase... Do you mean like Chaise Lounge?
Not like Charles and Dave.
Charles and doing it?
Chase and Dave.
Chase and Dave. The chairs. Welcome to the stage. It's Chase and Dave.
Okay, I've been trying really hard to get me an interview.
I've been trying really hard to get me an interview, boy.
Well, looky here, I got me an interview.
Well, looky here. Looks like we got ourselves an interview, boys. Ain't that right, boys? Oh, yes, boy, we got ourselves an interview. Oh, come here, my pretty little interview. What you got for us?
So, lo and behold, yesterday,
Yes.
the PR for Ronnie Platt. That's the lead singer for Kansas.
Ronnie Platt. Now, what was Kansas's?
Ronnie Platt.
What was Kansas's big song?
Dust in the Wind.
Dust in the Wind.
Yes.
That seems like a futile job.
Dusting the windows.
Carry on, my wayward son.
Carry on, my what?
Carry on, my wayward. It's huge. You don't know Kansas. You know Kansas.
I know. Oh, hang on. Let's have Dusting the Wind. Hang on.
Yeah.
Let's have a little listen to this because I'm aware of the name Kansas.
Yeah.
But I'm not aware of the sound. Let's listen to this. Is the sound of Kansas while they're dusting the wind.
I think I'm as nervous to...
Oh, it's an advert for chocolates. Hang on. Skip 2, 1. Skip this ad. Yes, here we go. Shh, shh, shh. Oh, here we go. This is good, this song. I'm a storyteller, and my story must be told. The state of this lot.
Nice picking.
I close my eyes. Oh, don't know that one.
What?
I don't know that one.
You don't know that one?
No.
It's one of the biggest. I mean, come on. Yeah. I can't believe you don't know that one.
All right, let's try Wayward Son, because that
Yeah,
will come.
that
Carry on,
one you
Wayward
know.
Son. Let's have a listen to this, see if we know this one. All right, here we go. Hang on, click.
Carry on my wayward son.
Yeah.
There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more.
No.
No?
Let's try one more. Let me try one more Kansas song, because I don't know any of those, if I'm completely honest.
I think the first one rang a bell.
Let's try this one. Hang on a second. Here we go. Oh, yeah, I know this.
Something's amazing, just stay my on. Doesn't myself is alright. Let's take my peace and
More than a feeling.
I don't know that one, do you?
Oh, no, that's Boston. That's not Kansas.
Oh.
It's a town.
That's another American city.
Yeah.
Can we go all around America?
Yeah.
With bands?
Yeah.
We start off with the band America, right? We got America, right?
Okay.
Then what?
B for Boston.
B for Boston. We got Kansas. Chicago. So we got Boston, Kansas, Chicago. John Denver. Oh, yeah. This is it. We're back on LBC, guys. 0844 499 1000. Can we go all the way around America with bands and singers and songwriters? So we've got America, Boston, Kansas, Chicago, John Denver.
Buffalo Springfield.
Sorry?
Right, there's a Springfield in every single state in America. That's why the Simpsons creators chose Springfield.
I'm having it. Buffalo Springfield.
Boom. Chew on that.
Not now. I'm not very hungry. There must be more of those rock groups like Journey. But, you know, there must be more...
There must be a Philadelphia. There must be someone with Philadelphia in.
There doesn't have to be.
There was a seat.
There was... No, you can't Google it. That's cheating.
There was something. There's something sound of...
Did you say Chicago?
Yeah.
She can't Google it. She can't... Je n'ai pas Google. Je n'ai pas Google. Non.
Je suis pas permettez de googler.
Non, Google. Non, Google.
Faut pas googler.
Hang on. There's got to be... I'm stuck in New York.
There's something sound of Philadelphia. There was a band called that.
No, there wasn't.
Yeah. There was.
No. Oh, the Detroit Spinners.
Yeah.
Way! Yes, go on.
Manhattan Transfer.
What?
Manhattan Transfer. This is the most awesome. Let's get the phone calls are piling up here. Manhattan Transfer, Detroit Spinners.
I didn't start it.
You did, Katya.
I didn't. Well, we haven't even finished my story.
Oh, I think I'll be the judge of that.
Miami Sound Machine.
Oh yeah, Miami. I've spelled Miami wrong. How do you Miami sound?
How can you spell it wrong?
I put an A at the end. Miami. Machine.
Miami.
Isn't? Hang on, Katya, please.
Don't interrupt. Rude.
Alaska, no. Alabama 3. There we go. Boom. Thank you. Okay. Alabama 3. What did they do, Katya? They did the theme tune to The Sopranos. Texas. Oh, I wish we were drunk and it was Christmas. Texas.
That's it. We're done.
Hang on a minute. Stay. Nat, we'll come to you in a second, but Ray's called in. Ray, what have you got for us?
Flow Rider, as in Florida.
Oh.
Not allowing that.
Not allowed to? Okay, what about Utah Saints?
I'm allowing the Utah Saints, mate.
Utah Saints.
I'm going to be hard on Flo Rida. It's because I know it's spelt Florida, but there's a space. It's two separate words, Ray. We've got to have standards in this competition.
Fair enough.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Tutty bye. That, to me, is a perfect phone call, Katia. Straight to the point. It was direct. It
Knows
was
when
fast.
to leave.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't take offence when I came down hard on him. Imposed the rules. He accepted that like a gentleman, then came straight in with the Utah Saints. 0844 499 1000. I'm not even going to look at Twitter, because if you're entering on Twitter, you're a loser. It's phone calls only. Katia, you had a story for us. Which we'll hear straight after these messages.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Katia!
Hello. So you could be Ronnie Platt, really.
Sorry?
You could be Ronnie Platt.
No idea what that means. Rob, you've called in. What have you got for us?
New York Dolls.
Hang on, slow down. He's right. New York Dolls.
Why are you writing these down?
Because I'm going to type these up and put them on a website somewhere.
Okay.
Yes, Rob.
Death in Vegas.
All right, mate. Don't. Honky, honky, haw. Has anyone ever actually said honky,
No.
honky, haw?
Only my dad when he thinks he's being French.
It is funny.
Yeah.
Yes, Rob.
And I've got a Whopper.
Big one.
Excuse me? No, don't know. Okay. Nat.
Hello.
Hello, Nat.
Hello. Yeah, I was going to completely take you off of complete subject of what you were talking about with
Beautiful.
the
Yeah.
band. You were talking about Robert Durst, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, Bob Durst, the Jinx, the life and deaths of Robert Durst. Catherine is leaving the studio as she's not seen it. I'm really keen for her to see it. I will let you know when you're allowed back in. Yes, Nat, we were.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it either.
Oh,
and
she's
I'm
not
really
seen it.
keen to
She's
see
not seen it. Cathy, come and sit down. Come and sit down.
Yeah, come and sit down. There's another one which I think you would be interested in as well. It's on Netflix. It's called Who Took Johnny?
Now, you must have missed last week's show. We talked about Who Took Johnny on Film Ring. We had.
Did you?
Yeah, we had
sorry, I do apologise then.
No, please don't apologise. It must be in the zeitgeist. I think it's just come on Netflix in the last month. We had the three directors and producers of the film on the show last week for an hour.
Oh, right, okay.
It's out there as a podcast.
Yes.
If you go and look for our podcast, we'll try and find which date it was, and you can download it as an accompaniment. But we talked about it for an hour, and we looked at some of the conspiracy theories. Have you seen it all now? You've seen the whole film?
I've seen parts of it. I haven't seen the whole thing all the way through yet.
Oh, okay. No, I'll keep quiet then.
It does look good.
It is. It's brilliant. It's really intense, and it's hard work. But it is an absolutely cracking film that when you think you've got your finger on it, it goes off in a completely different direction several times.
Right. Okay.
No, but thank you for that, Nat. And when you have watched it, do go and download the podcast, because we as I say, we kind of look at some of the conspiracy theories. We question some of the stories that are told in the film, and also there's one scene that I found really distressing, and I kind of asked them why they decided to include that scene in. But you may not have seen it yet, so I'm not going to say any more.
Right. Okay.
Nice one, Nat. Thank you for the recommendation, though.
That's all right. No problem at all.
Thank you very much indeed. Isn't that funny? Yeah. What? The phones have gone nuts. Maybe you should go and help Elliot do the phones, because the phones have gone absolutely bonkers for some reason. That either means a nuclear bomber's gone off, or
the America game.
It's the America game. Katia!
Yeah.
You see what you've started? We've got a load of losers phoning up from Shropshire, from, I don't know.
Anyone from Lincolnshire? Big up Lincolnshire.
I do not know. What is this Lincolnshire that you are talking about?
So, as I said, I almost bottled out of today because of you, because I remember...
Thank you.
Yes, because I remember that you did an interview once, and you did not record it properly.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I'm not in a proper radio studio, because usually I do go to a radio studio.
For those who missed it, we had Mark Commode, who I'm a big fan of, about 6-7 years ago, and I was absolute. He came in for a pre-recorded interview, a big fan of Mark Commode's. He's one of those people I'd like to be my friend. And Eloise was my producer, and she was going to sit. I said, Eloise, I know how to do this. You go off and do your other stuff. I'll sort this out. And so we had the studio up, and we recorded the interview, and I gave the file to Eloise, my then producer. And she phoned me up that evening and said, Iain, what went wrong with the interview? I said, what do you mean? She said, well, I can hear you perfectly, but we can't hear anything Mark Commode is saying. I hadn't turned his microphone on. So what you hear is me going, so Mark, tell me about your new book. Well, Iain, the book is basically, it's been looking about... Well, that's great, Mark. Thanks very much. And we couldn't broadcast it. And he'd invited me to go and see a talk he was doing, like 2 nights later. And I couldn't go. I just couldn't go, because he'd go, was the interview okay? And I'd go, yes. I think we put it out as a podcast in the end, because we couldn't play it on the air, because it was unlistenable. So, with that inspiration in mind, you went to Kansas today, did you?
Yeah, that's it. I went to Kansas with my fitter, Iain Lee Stight.
Hey, did you muff it up?
I did not. He had such an incredible story to tell. It's just as if, I don't know, maybe in 2 years' time you could be in the Monkees listening to him.
But I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, he is a singer. 2 years ago, he was in a cover band, and nowadays fronting one of the biggest bands in the U.S.
Kansas?
Yes, it's huge. It's huge over
but
there.
So hang on. So there's a... I missed something here.
I'm not surprised. We played the American game.
Yes, yeah. But so far we've got Death in Vegas, Utah Saints, America, Boston, Kansas, Chicago, John Denver, Buffalo, Springfield, Detroit Spinners, Manhattan Transfer, Miami Sound Machine, Alabama 3, Texas, and the New York Dolls. That's why I'm writing it down.
Oh.
So you went to interview someone who's the lead singer of Kansas, but they used to be in a Kansas tribute band?
Not only Kansas, but definitely a cover band.
Well, what happened? Is the lead singer of Kansas dead?
No, he quit 2 years ago.
Why?
Why? Because, can I say what? I can't really say that. Well, let's just say that it was a good move. Good move. His voice, it just, he had enough, I think.
Well, you obviously know...
I know stuff. Well...
You obviously know more than your... Hang on a minute, let's...
What?
I'm going to find out.
No.
Retirement of Steve Walsh. The retirement of lead singer Steve Walsh is resigning from the band. His last performance. Following statement. So what? Why are you even telling? I don't understand why you're telling me this stuff.
Right. Okay. Well, because he was. I can't really say why, can I? Because maybe he's listening. There you go.
What? Hang on a minute.
No, I don't.
Why did the lead singer of Kansas quit? Hang on a minute. There we go. It doesn't say why.
Right. They're not young anymore. And he's a singer. And
he can't sing anymore?
Yeah, can you say that? Can you?
I thought you were going to say he was a nonce or something. God, blimey.
No!
He can't sing. He's too old to sing. All right, fine, beautiful.
Is it fine, though? Because some people do go on, even though,
They can't sing anymore. Name one singer that's gone on, even though they can't sing anymore.
Johnny Halliday.
Oh, shut up. Johnny Halliday can sing. Of course he can. Next.
Steven Tyler.
Steven
Tyler, he's getting real big.
Everybody, did you hear this today? Everybody, apart from Angus Young, has quit AC/DC.
Yeah, that's mad.
The drummer got... so Brian Johnston, the most miserable man in rock, has left because he's gone deaf. The drummer has gone to prison because he'd hired a hitman to kill somebody. The other guitarist went because he's got dementia, I think. And the bass player's just quit. So it's only Angus Young left.
And then they've got Axl Rose.
But he broke his leg. So he's going out fronting AC/DC in a wheelchair. He's copying Dolores Riordan from the Cranberries. So you interviewed the fake lead singer from Kansas.
Fake. No, he's not fake. He's in the band now. You know, he's been in there for 2 years.
But he was in a pub covers band, and he's the lead singer, and he's a fake.
That's the amazing thing. He was driving trucks 2 years ago,
he's a fake.
and now
he's
fake. 50, 55, and he's a lead singer for Kansas.
Yeah, but
so anything can happen.
No one knows who Kansas are.
You don't know.
And B, I mean, who cares?
I care because his story is good. It was a good story.
How did your interview go?
I think it went well, really.
Have you listened back to it?
Because he had an interesting story to tell.
That's what you say.
Well, you haven't heard his story.
Okay. Well, I look forward to. I feel like I have heard his story. He was driving trucks, and now he's the lead singer of Kansas, a band that no one's heard of. I mean, what more? What more could you possibly? What more do you want? Well, thanks for calling, Katia.
Well, yeah. Bye.
Yeah. We're having a lot of women this evening. It's unusual. Yes, Hannah.
Oh, I just had 2 tracks for the American game.
Here we go.
Georgia Satellites.
Oh, yes. Now, who are the Georgia Satellites? I know the name, but I can't...
I don't really know, but I just know it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we've got that. Lovely.
Presidents of the United States of America.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember the presidents, Kath? Millions of peaches.
Oh, yeah.
Peaches for me. Millions of peaches. Peaches from me.
Going to the country. Gonna eat a lot of peaches. Wasn't really about peaches, was it?
Going to the country. I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. I've got millions of peaches. Peaches for me.
My cat's called Peaches.
Are there millions of them?
No, I've only got one cat. I've got one cat called Peaches, and the other one's called something else.
Millions of peaches, peaches for me. Millions of peaches, peaches for free.
Peaches come in a tin. Wasn't there a thing about that?
Here we go. This is a song. Thank you for this, Hannah. This is a song. Listen to this. A lot of peaches.
I remember this.
Going to the country. I'm gonna eat me a lot of peaches.
Moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat me a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches.
Peaches come in a can. They were put there by a man in a factory downtown.
And if I had my little way, I'd eat peaches every day. Sun-soaking bulges in the shade. Moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. Moving to the country, I'm gonna eat me a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, gonna eat a lot of peaches. Moving to the country, gonna eat a lot of peaches. I took a little nap with a loose old twist, squished a rotten peach in my fist, and dreamed about you, woman. My finger down inside, make a little room for an ant to hide. Nature's candy in my hand, or can, or pie.
The peach is the state fruit of where in America?
Ooh.
Come on.
Somewhere hot. It's not California, because that's going to be lemons. Arkansas. Texas.
Yeah.
Peaches. Peaches for me. Millions of peaches. Peaches for free. Millions of peaches. Peaches for me. Millions of peaches. Peaches for free. Look out! Ninja! Yeah! Ninja fights! Best video ever!
peaches for free. Millions of peaches, peaches for me. Millions of peaches for free. That's what people need, a lo-fi version of a song that most people have forgotten.
And the answer? Georgia.
Didn't they have a song where their video, they were dressed up in as scientists? Do I remember that, or am I thinking of the guy that used to come out on Vic Reeves?
What, Lister?
No. He used to be scared of...
Oh, yeah.
What was his name? Weird guy.
Yeah, he used to be afraid of the spirit level.
Yeah, but he liked clover or something.
Cloves.
What was his name? Les.
Yeah.
But wasn't there a president of the United States of America? Dave and Audrey, stay there. We'll come to you after the break. Sorry to keep you waiting. A bit busy on the old phones tonight. It's almost like a proper show with an audience, huh? I'm sure there was a video they had where they were dressed up. My friend Simon is friends with the presidents of the United States of
Is
America.
he?
Yeah, he is.
Good for Simon.
Yeah, because he goes around the world touring with Kula Shaker.
Mm-hmm.
They would often find themselves on similar bills at festivals and stuff, and
Loud guitar music bills.
yeah, that kind of thing. There was a phase, wasn't there, in the 90s of. No, I wouldn't class that as a novelty song, but short, angular guitar music with a sense of humour. Gay Bar, was one. There was
There Might Be Giants.
They Might Be Giants. Oh, there's a band. I was thinking of one that came out about the same time as Gay Bar.
Oh, not flipping You're Gorgeous.
No, not that. No, it's sense of humour.
But that's supposed to be funny.
I'm trying. No. I'm trying to think. It's American. Came out at the same time as Gay Bar. Oh, it's a guy with glasses singing about America, isn't he? What is that? Someone on Twitter must know. There's a guy... Oh, God, that's going to bug me. He was at the same time as Gay Bar. It's a guy with glasses and playing guitar. Oh, flip it! It's a good song as well.
Oh, I bet it sounds awesome.
Someone could tweet me it. We'll cut. Here's what I swear to you, Iain Lee, swear on the grave of my grandparents that when we come back after the news at the top of the hour, we'll be playing that song.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Talk Radio.
Dear listener, my name is Iain Lee, and I swear on the grave of my grandparents and all those who've trodden before me that when we come back after the news at the top of the hour, I'll have remembered, using my brain, what that song was that I was trying to describe about the fella with the glasses and the guitar that came out around about the same time as Gay Bar, and I'll be playing that song for you. And if I don't, well, then you can have my soul. Here's the news.
She was all like, and I'm like, whatever.
Remember this?
No.
And this chick comes up to me and she's all like, hey, aren't you that dude? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So later, I'm at the pool hall and this girl comes up and she's all like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. This is
my United States of whatever.
And this is my United States of whatever. And this is my United States of whatever. And then it's 3 a.m. I'm on the corner wearing my leather. This dude comes up and he's like, hey, punk. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Then I'm throwing dice in the alley. Officer Leroy comes up and he's like, hey, I thought I told you. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Then up comes Zappo. I'm like, yo, Zappo, what's up? He's like, I'm like, that's cool. Cause this is my United States or whatever. And this is my United States or whatever.
No, that wasn't it. 0844 499 1000 is the phone number. Audrey!
Hello.
Hello, Audrey!
Hi.
Elliot, there's a phone call if you don't mind. Thank you very much. Audrey, what have you got for us?
I've got a few, actually.
Here we go. We're going around the United States of America with bands and singers.
We are indeed.
Go on.
I think you mentioned it earlier. There was Chicago.
We've got Chicago was the fourth one we
Yep.
came up with, Audrey. We've got that.
There is Geno Washington and the Ramjo.
Oh, baby,
classy.
baby. Yes, of course. Well done. How could we forget Mr. Geno? Well, two Geno Washingtons. There was an American Geno Washington who went and served in Vietnam, and you could do this in the 60s. And then this English guy went, oh, I'm going to be Geno Washington then. And so there's an English Geno Washington who kind of worked all the clubs over here.
Cheeky.
Pretending to be Geno Washington, I think. Anyway, yes, any more, Audrey?
New York Dolls.
Yeah, got that. What? If you name one more that we've got, I'm going to have to cut you off.
Okay, what about Pasadena's?
Oh.
Is that a place in America?
Yes.
It certainly is.
Okay, you're back in the game.
And LA Boppers.
Who?
LA Boppers.
LA Boppers?
Yeah. They sang Watching Life.
You've just
Bebop's dancing.
You're just making acts up now just to try and sound cool.
No, you look it up.
I've got to. If someone else can phone up and back up the LA,
You're going to query that, are you?
I'm querying that. I'm querying that. Go on, I'll give you one more.
One more. One more.
Oh.
Alabama Shakes.
We've got, who's that in the background feeding you info?
That's my hubby.
Why are we not, Audrey? Why are we talking to the monkey and not the organ grinder? He's obviously the brains behind this organisation.
No.
I'm afraid he's got you cut off because we've had Alabama already in the shape of
She
the
made me
Alabama
think
3.
of one.
Go on.
With the Geno Washington thing.
Yeah.
Whitney Houston. Texas.
And it's sad. Whitney.
Yeah, it is.
And it's sad what happened to Whitney Houston.
And her daughter.
Yeah. Let's go to Dave. Good evening, Dave.
I've got some more American towns that are bands.
Oh, yeah. Can you do me a favour, Dave? Can you do me two favours? One, could you move your mouth away from the phone slightly? And two, could you stop masturbating?
Which one first?
If you could stop the masturbation first.
Okay, hang on a sec.
Okay. And if you could then, secondly, if you could move your mouth away from the mouthpiece.
Okay, one sec.
Okay, that's great, Dave. Thank you. I appreciate you being so cooperative and taking that as in the spirit it was intended. Dave, what have you got for us?
I've got some American towns that are bands. The first one, these are watertight.
The what?
These are watertight.
The what?
These are watertight. These bands.
Oh, I thought that was the name of a band. Okay, right. Okay, well, these are water. You're my favourite caller of the week, by the way. We need to get a fanfare. Can we get a fanfare? And the fellow that comes in and does all the voices, James, isn't it? I always forget his name, and he always gets upset that I forget his name because
Well,
we
so
talk
he
to.
should.
So he should. He's right. Let's get James to record a voiceover with caller of the week, and I'd hit it now. Yes, Dave. Let's hear your watertight suggestions.
Louisville.
Sorry?
Louisville.
Oh, no.
Right. Okay, that's no, that's a song.
Aha.
What you?
Right.
Michael Jacksonville. Milwaukee, Richards. Indianapolis. Tiny Tampa. Honolulu. Anchor Rage Against the Machine. Reno. Albuquerque. That's it. I'm done.
Dave, could you do me a favour?
Yeah.
Could you start masturbating again and then put the phone down?
Tell me when.
Where you go? Okay, and he's hung up there. That's, I mean...
Oh.
Tonight, I don't know what's happened. Maybe it's everyone's been buoyed by having such an excellent first guest and an excellent second guest. Tonight has felt like a proper late night radio show. I don't even know who most of these callers are. Most of these callers are new to me. Michael Jacksonville was good. Did he say Milwaukee Richards? Is that what he said?
Aha.
You absolute prune. You absolute prune.
Wow.
Got really dry lips. I'm going to have to get some Carmex. Got dry lips for the first time in ages. And I keep rubbing them, making it worse. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Happy Tree.
Hey, I've got one.
Yep.
Maybe you can give me the name of it. It is a Stephen Stills album.
Yeah.
Beginning with M.
Manassas?
Manassas.
But is Manassas a place?
Yes, it's just slightly to the west of Washington.
Well, in that I didn't know Manassas was a place. Manassas.
Well, I just looked it up on Google Maps to check. Because,
Manassas
the
is,
cover
by the way, Manassas
Just point of order. Are we doing albums? Are we doing songs? I thought we were doing bands.
No, it's a band called Manassas. It's Stephen. Yeah, hey, whoa!
Continue.
Point of order. I was about to say, Manassas are one of the great overlooked bands of all time. Manassas are just. It's Stephen Stills. Stephen. Oh, I've got any on here. Stephen Stills at his absolute.
There's a great. I'm sure you've already seen it on YouTube. There's a half-hour show that they did, a live show. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And the percussionist. I think his name's Joe Lala. He looks like he's having so much fun just standing there doing the guiro.
I'm sure they were having a lot of fun.
Yes,
in the form of cocaine. I think that was. There we go. Yeah. This is what it's all about.
And it's all the way you wanna. If you think you learn now.
There we go. Let's have another. There we go. This is a great album. It's National Manassas Day today. Here we go. A bit boring. Let's go this one. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, swampy.
Oh, that is filthy.
Yeah. Come on, Stephen. Best guitar player, better than Clapton. Go one more. Then indulge me. Here we go. There we go. Come on, I'm gonna get it. There we go. Come on. Yeah, you see, it's all over the place. Manassas don't care.
If I fell in love with you again.
Etc. Ad infinitum. Good band, Manassas. Well, that ends the show. Thanks for listening. Oh, no, it doesn't. For some reason, the callers have all vanished from us. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio's another 45 minutes is rubbish to go.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Busy tonight. John's in London, of all places. Good evening, John.
Hello.
Hello, John. What you got for us, boss?
I've got an American place band name in it.
It's funny that you lot go for this. I'm more than happy to. Yes, what have you got for us, sir?
Bay City Rollers.
Is Bay City a place? I suppose it is.
Yeah.
I think, John, I may have just said the most stupid thing I've ever said. Bay City Rollers. I like music, but the Bay City Rollers.
Do you?
Well, I do like music, but the Bay City Rollers are well, they're rubbish, aren't they?
What's the one song? I can't think of the song that they do.
Do my baby love? No, that wasn't them.
It was. Oh, they did it in Love Actually. What was it?
Bye bye baby, baby goodbye. But they had this horrible. The Bay City Rollers had this really horrible, tinny, very thin sound. We were talking about Gary Glitter earlier on. He had a fat sound. He had a really fat sound. Slade had a fat sound. The Sweet had a fat sound, but the Bay City Rollers, very, very thin sound. Sorry, John, what was that?
Sweet.
Yes?
The Sweet.
Yes?
Who are they?
The Sweet. They did a blockbuster! That's neat, that's neat, that's neat, that's neat. I really love your tiger feet. Was that not them? Who sang Tiger Feet?
I don't know what that is.
Was that Mud? I don't know. I get confused with my 70s bands. Sweet were the guy from Sweet was the brother of the guy that used to play Taggart. Does that help?
Not really.
No.
If I'm honest.
Blockbuster was a good song. It's Blockbuster!
If I think about it, I'll get there.
You sound too young, John. You sound about 28?
21.
Oh, even younger. Blimey, flipping heck. You don't need to know about that. There's no need for bands, but bands like Sweet are forgotten for good reason, John, because they were generally pretty pony. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Yeah. Well, I won't. So.
What are you doing for the rest of the night, John?
I'm playing Far Cry 4 with the periscope on my other monitor. So
now, Far Cry 4 is one of those computer games that. Now, is that the one where it's dinosaurs?
No. There was Far Cry 4 is the one where you're like an American guy who you travel to this like Asian island to scatter your mum's ashes, and you get caught up in this civil war, and you join this rebellion, and you kind of the whole game is you on this massive island, like trying to overthrow the.
It's not the one where you start off on a smaller island as like a training mission, is it?
I can't remember. I can't remember how it starts. But the one with the dinosaurs is Far Cry 4 Blood Dragon, which is like, which was a kind of not a parody. It was like a very tongue-in-cheek like spin-off game where it was all very kind of retro 80s with like laser guns. And,
I'm thinking of the wrong game then. I'm thinking I've got a game. Where, and I don't know what series it is. It's the latest in a series, but it's set in dinosaur days and caveman days. I know those days are different as a game, but
there's Ark Survival, which is
no, that's not it.
There was Far Cry 4 did have some DLC called I can't remember the name of it, but it's kind of sends you back to tribal times. No. And you like hunt for yetis and stuff.
No, this was the whole game, and everyone's going, "Oh, this game's brilliant. You're going to love this game." And I was like, oh, "Okay, right, I got to go." And it's boring because there aren't, and there's spears. It's all spears. Yeah, it's recent, like last 6 months. It's all. Someone will tweet me the answer. That's why I'm kind of stringing out this concept. It's all spears and bows and arrows and things, and it's just like I want guns and I want fast car chases.
Yeah, guns are pretty cool.
Guns. Here's the thing, right? In real life, if someone came up to me with a gun, I'd be absolutely terrified, of course. But in a video game, guns are actually pretty cool. You know, they are. It's fun. This is the weird thing, and I don't think maybe we'll talk about this we'll talk about it tonight. I'm really enjoying Grand Theft Auto 5 at the moment, John. Really enjoying it, and even though it's got it's foul language, it's awful language, but I'm enjoying driving around, swearing at people and shooting people. I'm enjoying it, and there's nothing wrong in that because I'm not going to take that out into the real world.
Yes, yeah, I see that. I didn't really. I've never had a GTA game, but obviously I've played it at like friends' houses and stuff. And I just don't really like third-person games.
Well, I remember. Here's the thing.
GTA.
What's interesting about Grand Theft Auto is I remember when the very first Grand Theft Auto, came out on the PlayStation, and it's a completely different game. It was like a top-down game.
It's top-down, yeah.
And you had to drive over the Krishnas and stuff, and it's a completely different game.
Yeah. It's the same with Fallout.
Yep. Yeah.
The first two Fallout games were like top-down. Not top-down. They were like isometric. Like was it Q-Boy? Q-Bot?
Q-Bot. Yeah, Q-Bot.
Q-Bot. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but like better.
Everyone is telling me, and I knew they would. Thank you, Roger and Rich and Mr. Zombie Boy Hawk and Weapon Collector. Far Cry Primal.
Oh right, yeah, it would be that one.
Yeah, it would be that one. I
haven't played it.
I thought it was
I
boring.
quite liked. I loved Skyrim, which was swords and bows and arrows.
Yeah.
But that also had magic in it.
Yeah, the magic's much better. Of course, magic adds everything to it. Is there a way? Right, it's funny because I was talking to Pip about FIFA. I don't like football, but I like playing FIFA. I'm wondering, we've got all these events, John, going on. Where we got the film ring and performance ring and all these different events, and we're going to a haunted pub on Halloween and all these things. I wonder if there's something.
Is it the same haunted pub that you interviewed the guy from a few weeks ago?
We're going to go up there. I wonder if there's something in organising like a gaming night session tournament, something for the listeners.
Well, it's quite easy to. There's BYOCs, which is bring your own computer.
Yeah.
Where everyone kind of literally just brings their own computer, and then you hook them all up and play on a LAN network.
But I can't play on computers. I hate playing on. For me, it's got to be. I've got to sit down with a console.
Oh,
and I'm wondering.
I haven't played.
I'm wondering if there's a way of hiring a small cinema or something, and charging people whatever it costs. The tickets that would cover the cost of the hiring of the cinema, and we just have like a night of like I don't know, FIFA World Cup tournament or. We have some kind of tournament where everyone plays on screen.
There's a bar in King's Cross called Meltdown, which is a gaming bar. So the way it works is it's like a regular bar, but on all the TV screens they're showing like competitive video game matches and stuff. And then there's like this tiny little elevated area. Yeah. Not tiny. There's a little elevated area at the top, at the like front, and it's got 5 PCs on it, so you can just sit down and like play a game of like there's a game called Dota, which is very popular. It's like a 5-man team game, but it's one where you kind of need to actually talk to your teammates, and the games take like 40 minutes. So you can go to this bar, just sit on a computer, and just play with like the 5 other people that are at the bar.
That's my kind of.
It's pretty cool.
John, it's good to talk to you. Thank you for that. My kind of bar. That's my kind of. Dennis, you fancy a bit of that?
No, but you should have been at my house tonight because somebody threw a grenade in the kitchen. Was having a nice cup of tea and suddenly there was a bang.
What happened?
Went into the kitchen. Well, I'd loaded the juicer up 3 days ago to make some juice, and I got it all past. I couldn't get the damn top off again afterwards with the cutters in.
So hang on, what exploded?
3 days trying to get the damn thing off. Even sprayed it with IS-12. Anyway, I stuck it in some boiling water. About 9 o'clock, about 7 o'clock tonight.
Yes.
And it must have been fermenting. And it blew the bloody thing apart.
What was it? Hang on, I missed it. What was it that blew apart?
The juicer.
Oh.
Anyway, luckily, funny enough, it dumped most of the juice in the sink.
Yeah.
Where it was stood. But nevertheless, it threw the things in different directions. So my missus and I have had a lovely time cleaning up.
Well, you can lick the floor and the walls clean, can't you?
No, not our floors you can't. No, she got everything out clean. But as I say, I've been trying. I've been giving it to people. I even took it in the garage to try and unscrew the damn thing. But it was so tight. So in the end, it's just blown it completely apart.
So you couldn't get it off, and so it blew its load?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different directions as well.
Oh, look, Catherine.
Great laugh. I wonder, we're just having a nice cup of tea at 10 o'clock, bang in the kitchen.
Well, so just to confirm, Dennis, you won't be interested if I organise a gaming night for the listeners?
No, I don't play those sort of games. I'm not.
Jet Set Willie?
Games. I'm like you, if it's going to be crash, bang, thud, but real bullets, no messing about with it.
Wow, yeah, that's right. He's saying, thank you, Dennis. That's right. He's saying he'd play it if there were real bullets involved. Carl, good evening, Carl.
Hello.
Hello, Carl. What you got for us?
Carolina chocolate drops.
Who are the Carolina chocolate drops?
A band, I believe.
Well, what you've got to name a song of theirs.
They won a Grammy last year. I can't remember the name of the song.
Carolina. Turn your radio off, you prune.
Sorry.
That's right. It's just otherwise it gets a bit confusing for. Yeah, I've just googled them. They're a real band. Carolina Chocolate Drops. They are on our map of America.
What does the zeitgeist mean?
The zeitgeist is basically. I always find it a tough word to explain. Rashid?
Yes?
Can you explain to Carl what the zeitgeist means, please?
I can, but I'm a bit miffed with you, Ian. I'm a bit miffed, and,
Okay, we'll come back to that in a minute. Dom?
Yeah, mate.
Can you explain to Carl what the zeitgeist means? Because I know what it means, but I can't put it into words.
You need Angelos for that.
Yeah, I know, Angelos. That's exactly the only time we want to speak to him, and of course the...
It's okay, everybody I ask, they don't know what it means. But people use it all the time, but nobody seems to be able to explain what it actually means.
It means that it's like in the vibe. It means that it kind of means that everyone's talking about it or thinking about it, or it's of the time.
Right. Yeah, like a new show starts on Netflix, and then all of a sudden everyone's talking about the new show, so...
Yeah, and yeah.
More subliminal.
Does that help, Carl?
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
Not really, then.
A little bit.
Carl, thanks very much for your call. Don, what you got for us?
Oh, several things. Tennessee Ernie Ford.
Tennessee Williams, Early Ford. Well, he's not really a...
No. Tennessee Ernie Ford.
Yeah,
or basically any country singer.
Tennessee Ernie Ford was he? That name pops up from time to time in my life, and I don't really know who he is. But yes, Tennessee Ernie Ford.
16 tons.
Was that him?
You get?
Oh, okay. Oh, he's definitely on the list then. Beautiful. Yeah, of course.
And what about I wasn't sure about this one. Dixie Chicks.
No. Dixie, unless you're watching an old Bing Crosby film, Dixie ain't a place. It's a state of mind. When are the Dixie Chicks going to release another album? It's about time, isn't it?
I believe there's a lot of controversy in America over them and the stance against the Gulf War or something. And George Bush.
Thought the controversy. There's a brilliant documentary about the Dixie Chicks where this all gets addressed. I thought the controversy had kind of died down a bit because that was about 10 years ago that happened.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
So I know they've done the two sisters. I think they're sisters. They've released a couple of solo albums as the Backyard Hounds, and they're cracking records, by the way, guys. Check them out. But I'd like a full-on Dixie Chicks. I love the Dixie Chicks.
Aren't one of them married to the guy out of Mad Men, the handsome chap at the front? Should have been Superman.
I don't know. I don't know much about their personal lives. You mean they're not? You mean they're not waiting for me?
I'm sorry, mate. No.
This is outrageous, Dom. Outrageous. Anyway,
pushing your dreams.
Anything else for us?
Do you want to see a karaoke catch up?
Yeah, go on, mate. I will actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Excellent. All right. Right. It's going to sound bad when I'm singing, but I'm doing an impression of the singer. Okay.
Okay, mate. Okay. Is it going to sound racist? Is it going to sound racist bad?
No. Not. It's not like one of my previous songs. No, this one's good. Okay. So your keyword to come in on is goodbye.
Okay.
Ready?
I'm ready, buddy.
Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's busy
happy. So why don't you leave her alone? And the operator says 40 cents more for the next 3 minutes. Please, Mrs. Avery, I just gotta talk to her. I'll only
Please, Mrs. Avery, I just gotta talk to her. I'll only keep her a while. Please, Mrs. Avery, I just wanna tell her goodbye. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's packing. She's gonna be leaving today. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's marrying a fella down Galveston Way. And then it gets way too high for me up there. And I also aware that Dennis, the person who actually sang that song, Dom, may actually be listening to the show. And boy, oh boy.
I listened to the podcast last night and you mentioned Dennis and I thought, oh, I've got a list of like 11 different songs in. I thought, yep, that's tonight.
The thing is, he's about to go out on tour, right? And if I don't want to do the guy down, but if he hears me singing, he'll just be sat there going, what's the point? I
can expect a tweet or an email saying, Dom, step up in Manchester.
Oh, I do apologise, Dom. Sorry, no, I was referring to myself there, mate.
Oh, right.
Sorry, Dom. Yeah, I'm expecting to get a private message from Dennis saying, Ian, there's no point in me doing the tour. I'm going to pass the Dr. Hook crown on to you. You can go and do the tour and on to the many, many millions of dollars that will no doubt.
Oh, I thought because you came in 5 minutes early that they'd choose me instead, because obviously I know him better.
5 minutes early?
At least, yeah.
Sorry, Dom, what would you say? Oh, I've cut you off. That's a shame.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Let's go to Rashid. Sorry, Rashid, you have beef with me.
Yes, Ian, I've got major beef.
Away you go, sir.
Basically, yeah, you know the zeitgeist, yeah? You're talking about zeitgeist, you look like you're having fun and that, you get me? And basically, you have a hip-hop guy on there.
Yes.
And I'm waiting in the queue. It's like I'm waiting outside the nightclub, and it's kicking off in the nightclub, and Scroobius Pip is in there. You're rapping with him. Everybody's chatting with him and everything. And I'm
we're in the VIP, roped-off VIP area, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the queue. I'm like fed up of listening to the Beach Boys talk for months and months, and Beatles this and I don't know, Poor Bloody McCartney this and that, yeah? Then I think, I'm getting there. I think Sam was before me, I'm getting there. I've written down some questions, loads of questions and all that, you get me? You get me, blood?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Yeah. So I'm getting in there now, Then the news comes.
Yeah.
The news comes on, I'm like, okay, after the news, I'm nearly there. After the news comes on, and then it was like, okay, we've run out of time, and then there's some, what do you call it, Armani Coppola you're playing, and it's like the after party now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Completely.
It's like the after party.
Oh, the whole
place,
the building's pretty much empty now. The lights are on.
Yeah, you're there with Kath. Kath's probably got a hat on sideways, like, you know, the hip hop hat. Ed's probably body popping in the background.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and I'm just there, just left hanging.
You know,
it's not right, man. It's not right.
You know why I didn't let you talk to him, don't you?
Go on then.
Because I'm a massive racist.
Well, I've been following your show for ages, and
yeah, but you're one of the good ones. Do you remember that used to be the argument for racists? People would vote. You used to get like proper hardcore racists. You go, but what about like Daley Thompson or Linford? Oh yeah, they're the good ones. No, I'm really sorry, Rashid. We had loads and loads of phone calls for him, and I was doing them in the order that they came, and there were a few people that didn't get to speak to Pip. And I'm genuinely really sorry, man.
It just reminded me of my teenage years. Queuing up outside nightclubs.
Oh, mate.
Sorry, lads, not tonight.
Oh, mate, I'm sorry. What were you going to ask him?
Well, I was going to ask him about the blaxploitation of some of the hip hop and the way the crime and the grime scene.
Yeah, it's a boring question.
Popular. Oh, thank you.
It was a boring question. It was a dull.
All right.
Kath was right. It was a dull question.
I was going to ask him also about when is the cut-off age for rappers? When should they give it? When should they call it a day? You've got some 50-year-old rappers.
Well, I don't think the thing is though. Do you remember? I remember there's a brilliant clip of the Beatles, right, when they're like 21, 22. And they're going like, well, we expect to maybe last maybe 3-4 years. I can't expect us to be singing A Hard Day's Night when we're 30. Well, McCartney's singing it when he's 73. And it turns out there's no real age for rockers to stop or crooners to stop. So should there be an age for rappers to stop?
Fair enough. But I'm 47 next year, and sometimes I get confused with my dress sense and all that.
The dress sense, yeah, totally.
I'm too young, and shall I pull my trousers up now? Shall I take off the baseball cap? Shall I rock the bald spot, or what shall I do? I don't know how to dress anymore.
Always pull the trousers up. I saw a man yesterday, well, the day before, right, who had the trousers round under his bum, right? Fair enough. He had his pants pulled down. I could see most of his art. Literally, his bum crack and his anus. I could see. I was thinking, flipping heck.
Yeah.
I don't mind if you see in the pants so much. All right, it's pants. It's still clothing, But I don't want to see the bum crack.
You, anyway.
Huh?
I forgive you, because you put me onto Scroobius Pip in the first. I've never heard of the dude before.
Oh, hang on a minute. Well, there you go. Come on. You see, man, you owe me.
Can I talk to you about something else?
Of course you can, buddy.
I'm feeling highly irritable all day, every day. I don't know what's going on. Everything is irritating me. My dad said I might be going through the menopause. The menopause. Is it a true thing? Is it such a thing?
Well, I mean, kind of, I suppose. The midlife crisis is a real.
Yeah. I'm going through that. I want to be young again.
That ain't never going to happen.
I want to break dance again.
Well, that might happen if you could you break dance before?
I could. I'm a first-generation B-boy. This is what I wanted to speak with Scroobius Pip about. I'm a first-generation B-boy. But I could never do the windmill.
I could never do any of the breakdancing.
I could do everything else, but I could never do the windmill. So am I a bona fide B-boy?
Well, it sounds like you're a plastic B-boy. Yeah.
Thanks, Ian.
Oh, well,
thanks for making me feel better.
I've got nothing but my honesty, Rashid. I've got nothing.
Ian, irritability, is it a symptom of depression?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Oh gosh.
Well, no, I don't. It's not. It's. I mean, I get irritable when I'm tired, or when I'm feeling ashamed. I get irritable, or when things aren't working. When technical things aren't working, or doing something on the computer. But I don't know if it's necessarily a sign of depression. Are you sleeping enough, man?
Night shift, I suppose, isn't it? Night shift.
Oh, well, the night shift, I mean, even if you're getting enough hours of sleep in the day, the night shift messes with your psyche and your spirit and your head completely.
Yeah, I've been doing it for two and a half years now. I think I'm going to start looking for something else.
It isn't healthy. It isn't, healthy to work through the night and sleep when the sun is out. It isn't. You can do it. You can do it for every once in a while, and you can do it for short periods of time. But sunshine, man, sunshine.
I might do my own radio show, invite some hip hop artists on that I can speak to in my own time.
Well, let me know when you do it. I'd love to phone up and speak to them.
All right, then.
Hang in there, man. You're a good man.
Nice one, Ian.
Cheers,
See you,
Rashid.
mate.
Sweet to you. 0844 499 1000. Honey, come to you after this.
Late night Ian Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Last 15 minutes of the show. 0844 499 1000 is the phone number. Honey!
Hello. Hi.
Hi. So you met Ringo Starr the other day.
I didn't meet him.
Well, he looked at you. Ringo Starr
he did.
looked at you the other day.
Yeah, but I don't care because Ron Howard walked right past me and I was there for Ron.
Richie Cunningham, but did he blank you?
He kind of signed everyone's things and took pictures of everyone and then just stopped right when he got to me.
Wow, he
and my friends.
He Al-Jardined you.
Oh my God, I know.
That's what it feels like. Well, did you? I'm hoping you shouted abuse at Ron Howard.
No, I didn't, because I love him so much.
Why? You've got a really weird taste in men, right?
No, listen, Ron isn't even my fave in Happy Days.
Who's your favourite in Happy Days? Potsy?
No.
Ralph Mouth?
Ralph Mouth.
Yeah, of course it is. But you fancy Ron Howard and you fancy Al Jardine of the Beach Boys. Now, what do they have in common? Well, they're both short, blonde, piggy-faced, and I'm being kind, kind of squinty-eyed, weird old men.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about Ron Howard and Al Jardine that that floats your boat?
Well, Ron Howard, I don't know, but Al Jardine, there's something about, he's really adorable. Don't you think he's, adorable? No?
No.
Okay. Also, I have a band.
Oh, yeah, go on.
And you're going to not believe me, but there is a band called the Waikiki Beach Boys. You know, Waikiki in Hawaii.
Yeah, no, I've heard of the Waikiki Beach Boys.
I always see their records, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, I've heard of the Waikiki Beach Boys. I'm aware of the Waikiki Beach Boys. Anything else, honey?
Oh yeah, I can't believe that you don't know Carry On My Wayward Son.
I don't know what, sorry. It's not the best line. Go on.
The Kansas song, Carry On.
Oh, I don't know. I've heard of the band Kansas, but I don't. Maybe if it got to the chorus. Don't bore us. Get to the chorus. But up until that point, I had not heard of it. No.
God, how? You're so.
Where's this sentence going to end? Let's see how this sentence, Catherine. How do you think this sentence? It's going to end in an insult, isn't it? It's going to end in a.
No, I'll be nice.
Young girl,
nice.
Old man insult. Let's see. Okay, finish.
Oh, hi, Cass.
Hello.
So go on. You
have a weird. I thought that you of all people would know Kansas.
She about to say that I have a weird taste in music? This is what, you 19, 20-year-old girl who's obsessed with Ralph Mouth from Happy Days?
Oh, have you heard Donny Most's album? Have you heard it?
I haven't. Donny Most plays Ralph Mouth for those. No, I haven't heard his album. No.
It's so good.
I bet it's not. Because they try to introduce... Some of the songs in Happy Days are written by Paul Williams, who wrote songs for the Carpenters and won loads of Emmys. I think he won an Oscar as well. And he
for the Muppets.
Wrote for the Muppets, yeah. He wrote songs for Happy Days. But Potsy Weber was the one that they were trying to push as the singer.
Yeah.
I tell you why I'm so hot on my Happy Days, because last week I watched 2 Happy Days reunion shows. One from the 80s and one from the 90s.
Oh, dear.
Well, no. Why oh, dear?
Well, 80s.
It was nice. It was nice. I enjoyed it. You should watch them, honey. They're on YouTube.
I need to watch them. I haven't finished, the series yet, though. So.
Have you got to the one? And when you find it, can you tell me what series and what episode it is? But the one where it's the Beatles in a hospital.
No.
Yeah, there's one. Right, I remember watching it when it went out. And it was, I think, a series that Richie Cunningham had left to go to war. And so it was mainly around Joni and Chachi. And there's one where there's a hospital. And I remember 4 people that were supposed to be the Beatles. But, they had the worst Liverpool accents you've ever heard. It was like that. So, actually, that's a really good impression of Paul McCartney from the episode of Happy Days. So, when you come to that episode, honey, could you let me know where it is, please? Because I'd like to see that again.
Oh, another thing is, as well, since the last time I called, I listened to the self-titled album.
And?
All the way through.
And?
I really love it.
Yeah.
I Do Love You is a good song. Written by Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, it is. It is a good. It's good. And California, you laugh at the '80s Beach Boys, and it's easy to laugh at them because of their, the synthesized drums and particularly their album, the synthesized.
The baseball caps.
Yeah, and the baseball caps and the short shorts. But it's a fun album.
True.
I'd love to have a crack at your love, crack at your love. Gosh. Ooh. Oh, ooh. Have you heard Male Ego?
Yes.
Yes, that's not
bit
good.
weird.
That's not good. That's a Brian Wilson, Eugene Landy.
Oh.
Male Ego walking down the street. Male Ego singing something sweet.
Smart girls. It's like smart girls.
Smart girls, I like the smart girls. Sexy ladies with high IQs.
Oh God.
That's the rap song that he didn't give me. And the Spirit of Rock and Roll with Bob Dylan.
No, I haven't heard that.
It's in the heart. Oh, let me play. This is we're coming to the end of the show. No one's listening. Let me find. So it's an unreleased album, Spirit of Rock. Brian Wills. It's this unreleased album called Sweet Insanity. It's just awful, right? But this is quite a good song. This is the best song from it. And then Dylan comes in.
No matter if we're young or old, as long as there's music, we'll all live forever in the spirit of rock and roll.
Cue Bob!
Once it's in your blood,
oh God,
it won't be the same no more.
There we go. There we go. LA to Kokomo. Whoa.
It's in the heart of every boy and girl, everywhere around the world. The spirit, the spirit, the spirit, the spirit, the spirit of rock and roll. The spirit, the spirit, the spirit, the spirit, the spirit of rock and roll.
The thing is, that's what the 80s sounded like, so we shouldn't laugh.
What do you reckon, honey?
It sounds great.
Yeah, the Sweet Insanity is. I mean, it's around as a bootleg, and every it's.
Have you heard that really weird song that supposedly is Mike solo, but it's called "Can't Stop Talking About American Girls"?
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah, I got it. Here it is. I've got it on my iTunes. Hang on. You must think.
Can't stop talking about, can't stop American girl. Can't stop talking about, can't stop talking about American girls. To me they've a spare.
Yeah, you mean that one?
Yeah, I know all the lyrics to that. It's great.
Oh, it's. I mean, the bootlegs and the solo albums of the Beach Boys. It really is. It's a wonderful. Have you heard? I'm assuming you've heard this. Hang on a minute. Here we go.
You know, I was wondering, if you could keep on, because the force it's got a lot of power, and it makes me feel like it makes me feel like it.
Well, these girls are hit by wind.
You know that, don't you?
No.
There's
that is brilliant.
That is brilliant. There's a great one. I wonder if I don't think I've got it on here. Hang on a minute. There's a great mashup, but I don't think it's on. No one's put it on YouTube, and I don't think I've got it on here. Is it here? No, it's Beach Boys in Chicago bootleg. No, it's all my bootlegs. No, I haven't got it. There's a great mashup with Missy Elliott, and I've played it to you, Kath, and it's got swears in Missy Elliott, and I think Biggie Smalls and the Beach Boys doing Good Vibrations. It's absolutely brilliant. I highly recommend hunting that down.
I will.
Anyway, honey, thank you for that. We're coming towards the end of the show, and really chapped lips. Because I'm growing a beard again. You see, once I get used to it, it'll be fine.
What's chapping him? Your Tash?
Yeah, because I'm rubbing it. Because I'm aware of it, I'm rubbing it.
Mm-hmm.
Rubbing my ribs. I could murder some of those ribs.
Where is he when we need him?
He's abroad, I think, at the moment. Yeah. He's abroad. A little bit selfish, that is, I think. Yeah. A little bit selfish. But because I'm aware of it, I'm rubbing my lips and it's making them even drier. And it's...
I do that, and when I get stressed out, I bite my lips a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, first world problems, really.
What's this? The boob? I've got something called the boobot. Can we listen to this?
The what?
The boobot. What's this? It might be sweary, so stay tuned.
Is this recording or what?
I've got no idea what that is. That's weird, isn't it? These things on my... What's this? That's nice. So that's the end of the show.
Yeah, that bounced along nicely, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a good old show tonight. It was a proper late-night phone-in radio show. Mm-hmm. But without your Muslims, your immigrants... As subjects, I mean, they're all welcome as callers.
We didn't get into the great black cab debate.
No, we didn't get into the great black cab. What have we learnt this evening? Well, we've learnt that Scroobius Pip is an absolutely delightful gentleman. It's funny, I didn't realise he was so tall until he left. I didn't notice his height when I shared...
Is it because he stood next to me? That's when you realised he was tall?
Yeah, that might have been it. I think he's taller than me. And he's an imposing figure with the hair and the beard and the height.
A gentleman.
Yeah, really nice man. Wasn't it nice? I always worry when guests come too early.
Yeah.
Because I think, what if we don't get on? We've got nothing to say. It's easy to have a conversation on the radio because it's not real. It's kind of there's an element of performance about it. And I know how to have those conversations. I don't know how to have the conversations beforehand or during the breaks, but he got here about 9:30 and we were just chatting away about time travel films.
I had work to do, but I turned my computer off and decided to join in. He was such a nice fella.
Well, if you missed it, guys, we'll put it out as a podcast. I am going to go and record an episode of his podcast in the next couple of weeks. We're just going to find out where and when. I could say we could do it here somewhere, couldn't we? We could book a studio or something.
Yeah.
They don't need to know it's not for.
Let's take him out or something.
Sorry?
Let's take him out.
Well, you're not coming.
Well, why would you bring him here then if I'm not allowed to?
No, so I can do record his podcast.
I know.
Private.
Well, still.
Well, no,
I want him to be my friend.
He's not going to be my friend. Once we've done that, that's it. It's over.
All right.
Never going to communicate with him again. So we had that. We also spoke to Peter Ormerod, who's... what a brilliant story. It was Aaron. I never know how you pronounce the name. Aaron, I think, put me in touch with him on Twitter, so thank you for that.
Good shout.
We'll put that out as a podcast.
I'll do it, trust me.
It'll all be there. That's it, dear listener. That is your lot. We will be back tonight at 10. Until then, ta-ta.
Talk Radio. Digital debate for the UK.
Talk Radio.
We'll get you talking.